and kind of give you guys some guidelines to how this works. If I do not call your name, that means I've already checked you in.
Jill, you're on camera. If you want to say hey.
I'm on camera here.
Oh, you are? Oh,
Yeah.
good. Where are you? On my camera.
On the top left.
Oh, there you are, right next to me. I'm so zoomed out, I can't even find anybody anymore.
Okay, so it's gonna be a comedy show here, y'all.
Yes, it is. I'm here all week.
And we're both on one microphone and one audio because we're in two computers and we're causing feedback. So here we are. I'm gonna call Abby Rush. Are you here? Oh, there you are. I see you. Okay. Katie Postmate. Katie. I don't see her. Bridget Justice. While I'm doing this, you guys, I need you to go ahead and change your name if it is not your complete name. So in the upper right-hand corner, if you hover over the picture of your box, you should see 3 dots. And click on that, and you can click on rename. And so like Alan, I see you, we need your last name. Alicia J, we need your last name, please. Because we will take screenshots so that we can prove to the Real Estate Commission that you all were here and that everybody did what they needed to do to learn.
You said click on the 2 red dots and where?
If you hover on your picture, in the top corner of your picture, there's 3 little dots. Click on that.
Right.
And then it says rename. Click on rename.
I see Robin Butler. Hello.
Okay, Bridget Justice.
Hey.
Is she here? Okay, moving on. Crystal Godwin.
Sure. Hi.
Hi. Saw Daniel. Danielle Fonseca. Are you here, Danielle? Delana Hill. Grace May. Jay Jackson.
Alicia's having trouble.
Katrina Sproul.
I'm here.
Katrina, that's Katrina.
Yes. Hi.
Kelby Tarpley. Kelby, are you here? Okay. Lauren Reed. Lynn Portwood, there you are, I see you. And Robin Butler.
Here.
Awesome. And Tamika Walker. Tamika, you here? There she is.
I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Okay, you
Okay,
guys.
excuse me. I think I'm good. Sorry.
You're fine.
Good job. Be there, Alicia.
Okay.
I don't think.
Wait,
I
Jill?
don't think she
Yeah.
called my name.
I don't think you called my name either.
If I did not call your name, that means I've already checked you off. You're good. I saw you when you popped in. I try and make roll call as easy as possible.
Hey, Jill, Danielle Fonseca just joined. She's not, doesn't have her video on yet, but
Okay, fantastic. Thank
All
you.
right, so I'm multitasking. I won't be able to put on my video, but I'll be present.
you have to put on your video. I'm sorry. It's
I
a
didn't see
rule.
that as a requirement. I'm still working, so that's fine.
You can attend the class, you just won't be able to get credit if your video's not on.
Got it. All right, thanks.
Okay, so that is what I was about to say, is that through GREC and our school Outfront Education, in order to get your post-licensing or CE credits, we need to be able to see your lovely face. We have to take screenshots to be able to prove that you are here, and you need to be in an environment where you are paying attention, and that we have your undivided attention so that we can prove to them that you are getting this education that we promised that you would be getting when we turned in the paperwork saying you're going to get CE credit. So you can miss 2 classes. If you miss more than that, you will not get your CE credit, but you can make it up at a class in the future. You do have to take the final exam for this class, and that will be from 4 to 5 after the last session on March 25th. So between myself and Stacy Stubbs, we are the ones that are primarily running this Ignite, or managing, I should say, managing the paperwork. But you do have contacts within your own market center that you can reach out to. And if they need to get you in touch with me, you all should have my email and phone number because I emailed you all this link. Feel free to reach out if you need me, if you have questions. And I will be monitoring, making sure that I can see your lovely faces, making sure that you are paying attention and you are learning just as if we were sitting in a classroom here at Cityside. Okay, I am going to take a couple of quick screenshots. And every time I have to do this, I can't remember what I'm supposed to do.
What?
Okay, 1 second.
While Jill's doing that, I want to clarify, if you are taking, if there's 1 or 2 of you taking it for the 33 hours of CE credit, because you already have your post license, you actually do not have to take the test. And anybody else that is just auditing the class do not have to take the test. So only if you're taking it for post license, which includes those of you who are taking makeup, just needed some makeup classes.
If they did not get their credit though, and they are just doing makeup classes and they didn't take the test before, they do need to take the test, correct?
Yes, yes. I'm assuming they didn't take the test before, but
okay.
Whichever way.
Perfect. Okay. And with that, I have screenshots.
Smile.
Delana, we're going to need you to turn on your camera. If you're auditing this class and not getting credit, then the camera piece is not as strict. So if I call you out, forgive me. I'm just trying to monitor everybody. Okay, I think we're ready. Does anyone have any questions before we get started? I'll be monitoring the chat for CC, so if there is questions, I sent you all the digital version of the book first thing this morning. And at the end of this class, the way that we prove that you completed today's session is at the end of class, you will be sent a teacher evaluation and you need to complete that kind of as your exit to the class, if you will, for today to prove that you were here from the beginning to the end. Okay? All right. Take it away, Cece.
All right. Hey, everybody. So I'm Cece Osborne. I'm the team leader with our Keller Williams Cityside office in Smyrna. And it is such a pleasure to be able to kick this Ignite off and have all of you with us. This is supposed to be as best as we can get to duplicating the classroom environment. So with that, that means that you can certainly ask questions, you can contribute. And so making this interactive is what broadens the learning experience for everybody. Typically, we learn more through other people's questions than in many cases our own. So make sure that if you are curious about something or want more of an elaboration around something, then speak up so that I can know that and recognize you. Okay. You, first of all, congratulations. You have not only passed your real estate exam, but you have chosen to work with a phenomenal organization, Keller Williams. And you've also joined us in the Rawls group, and we're tickled to death that you did. Our commitment to you is that we treat you as partners in business, and that means that we are here to support you in building a big business for yourself. So we're going to get started with Ignite, which is, of course, igniting your business. And we're going to do this by starting with a conversation around getting your head in the game. When somebody says that to you, what does that mean to you? What does getting your head in the game mean?
Being focused, learning the lingo, learning the ins and outs.
That is a great answer. Absolutely. It really is. When we're putting our head in the game, we're getting our mindset right? That's what we want to do. We want to get our mindset. So let's do that by asking ourselves a couple of questions, okay? So do you feel like up to this point in your previous career, in your life, that you have reached your financial goals through another experience, another career? Anybody feel like they have reached their financial goals up to now? And it's okay to say yes, right?
Yes, up to now, but I want to keep going.
There you go, Lynn. That's right. Because sometimes in previous environments, we weren't asked to dream as big, right, as now we might as a business owner. And so, yeah, you may have had some success in other careers and met certain goals. But right now you are in an unlimited opportunity environment. So what's the one thing that you think will make real estate, one real estate agent more successful than another?
Consistency.
That's a great answer. And that is absolutely paramount. Yes, we have to have some consistency.
Customer
What do you
service.
think? I'm sorry, say again.
Customer service.
Customer service. Excellent. Yes, we have to give our clients a great experience, a superior experience, because we live in a world that's demanding of that. So yes, customer service is also part of the difference. What
I'd
else?
say patience
communication.
too.
Marketing skills.
Okay, I'm here.
Communication.
Patience, communication. Whoever said that, you are spot on. Marketing, absolutely. Daniel, you said something there. Did I catch it?
Determination.
Determination. All right. All of those are great characteristics, but what's the one thing that you think is the most important thing for any and all of that to make happen? What is going to happen?
Action.
Set your goals and strategize to reach your goals.
That's awesome.
I would say the amount of time that you dedicate to your business.
Okay.
So putting the work in, the amount of time.
Yes.
All right. So let me help you a little bit, because all of your answers are correct. All of them are going to come into play. But until you have a piece of business, do you really get to utilize most of what we've talked about so far, right? So to get a piece of business, what has to happen?
Lead generation.
Gotta get out there and get your sales game on.
That's right, man. Is it Bala? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes,
sir?
yeah.
Very good. So say that a little louder, Bala.
Lead generation.
There we go. Ding, 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 ding. Right. You're going to hear that term.
Somebody else said that too. Robin said that too, I guess.
Okay, Robin, forgive me if I missed that. But yeah, because none of anything matters. We can't give a great experience. We can't have the communication. We can't do all of those things unless we have a client and a customer. And so we need to make sure that lead generation. So when I talk about getting your head in the game, there's a certain level of acceptance around the lead generation piece that you have to digest that. Gary Keller will tell you, if you are in this business, lead generation is what you do, right? We're going to learn a lot more about why and how all of that makes sense. But so why do you suppose most agents don't do that?
They aren't
Focus.
comfortable.
They're not comfortable. What else?
Fear of failure.
Fear of failure, Akira. Yes. Katrina, what did you say?
I said fear of failure.
Focused on wrong things.
Not focused on the future.
There you go. There you
It
go.
takes a lot of time and effort to do it.
It does.
Not knowing what to do.
That is a great answer. Yeah, we're gonna fix that.
Yeah, just using some of the channels, like maybe social media, and not so much like the picking up the phone and calling.
That's right. Well, we're going to learn that there are multiple ways to generate business. And I have been asked often, Cece, what's the best form of lead generation? And I will say the one that you'll do, the one that you'll do consistently, right? Because it really is about filling that pipeline and having some lead generation activities in your calendar every single day. You know, you'll hear us in this business say what we do today shows up 90 days later. So if you aren't doing the lead generation activities that need to be done today, what happens 90 days? What happens 60 days? And
You have no business.
That's exactly right, Desiree. And you don't want that roller coaster that sales sometimes creates, right? You get business, you spend time focused and working that business. And then once you close all that out, you wake up and you realize that you don't have any new business in the pipeline. So if you're doing lead generation consecutively, consistently, day in, day out, you won't ever have to worry for that, right? Well, so here's the big question, right? You know, is your desire to succeed? Are you totally committed to doing those things that may make you uncomfortable, but that will make you money? And the crowd says, yes, 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 we are. You didn't come this far not to have that as your bigger goal, right? So let's talk a little bit about it now. About your business. Your business then, of course, is lead generation. You're in the business of real estate, and we're going to learn how to take this sales to a whole new level of service, right? And so what we have to realize is we are in a service industry, and while we are categorized as sales, that's only because we earn our livings through commissions. The truth is we don't have anything to sell, but the value of helping people make good decisions for themselves with buying, selling, or investing in real estate. So what you're going to have to do, this mindset has to flip a little bit. What we find so often is when we first get into this business, we're a little hesitant to reach out to those people who would be most likely to support our businesses, right? Family, friends, your larger sphere, maybe your social media community, all those relationships that you have. And we're a little hesitant primarily. Now, let me say there are the exceptions to that rule. And I know some of you in this class don't have a fear in the world about picking up that phone or making that post or going after that piece of business. But for the most of us, it is a little uncomfortable at first going to those relationships and asking them to support us in our businesses, right? And so that's where the mindset has to shift, because as long as you think you're asking them to support your business, you're going to have a problem with that. But as soon as you truly believe that you bring value to them, that this is coming from contribution on your part, that you're here to help and serve, once you really believe that that is your value, you'll take that uncomfortableness right out of it, right? Because then you'll want to be service oriented. You'll want to help them. Isn't it true that when we have something good to tell, if we have some good news, do we hesitate picking up the phone, posting it on social media, screaming it from the rafters? No. And so when you recognize that you are the good thing to sell, you are the good news, right? You can help people make really good business decisions around a big investment. It'll change everything for you, right? So you just have to make sure that you know you're coming from contribution and you are focusing on service, because that truly is, you know, what's going to win the game, especially in today's world, right? There is so much competition. There's so many ways people do different things, and it doesn't really matter how you get there. The end result has to be that is your biggest fan. That client that you gave the great service to now is going to go and be your best marketing piece, right? They're going to tell everybody they know how great you were, and that's going to perpetuate and build your business. So let's recap, right? So what are we doing? What's our job? We're in real estate, and what's our job?
Lead generation.
Lead gen.
Lead generation. All right, you're going to hear me stop and ask you that a couple of times through this class because we can't lose sight of that being the primary objective. Okay, so let's focus on the 6 personal perspectives. It's another look at getting our mind our head in the game, getting our mindset right. It says the most successful at this business know it takes a certain mindset and attitude to keep at it every day, and especially to excel. Fortunately, Keller Williams has a foundational model for a successful mindset, which came into existence when Gary Keller, our owner, asked the question of hundreds of top agents. This is the question. What is it that differentiates those who achieve at the highest level from those who don't seem to accomplish as much? Hundreds of interviews he had with top producing agents all over this country, now all over the world. And after thoroughly researching this question, Gary discovered that all high achievers have 3 basic attributes in common. It is mindset, coupled with attitude, coupled with your overall approach to life. Would you find that hard to believe? Doesn't that all kind of play into what we're trying to do here, right? So we're going to focus a little bit more on the 6 personal perspectives that help you really get this healthy approach to your business in sync. Your mindset, your attitude, and your overall approach to life. There are the 6 perspectives, and we're going to focus on each one of them individually. The number 1, step 1, is commit to self-mastery. And if you're following in your materials, you should be around page 10, I'm hoping. My instructor manual is page 10. So, right? So if you're following along, you'll see that I'm paraphrasing a lot because I can't read word for word. That would be so painful for you and me, right? So I'm trying to just pull out the meat, but trust me, we're going to cover all the content. So self-mastery is actually defined as the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. When you commit to achieving self-mastery, you know your goals, you know your strengths and weaknesses, and you know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. So who can share with us an experience in your life where you really felt like whatever your game was at that particular time, that you had mastery over it? This could be athletic, it could be, academic, it could be a great job you did in a role that you've had in a previous occupation. It could be in, juggling and managing motherhood or anything like that. But share with us what that feels like, right?
I can share.
Great.
This is Sandra Stewart. So I'm from Bosnia, and after the civil war in my country, I was hired to be a translator for the U.S. Army contractor that came to our country, and my English was very poor. It was just that there was nobody else that he could hire at the time, and he needed to communicate with the locals. And he had said, if I'm going to give you a job, but I want you to, when you're not working with me, you have to be studying English. I mean, I knew basics, and that was about it. And I did, I would finish with him, and I'd get my book, and I would study and study and study until I was, few years later, I was a personal translator to the base commander. So it came from somebody that barely spoke English to, you know, translating radio and TV interviews and all these big important meetings. So I was pretty, I mean, I'm still very proud of myself at how fast I was able to achieve that.
That is an excellent example, Sandra, and your English is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, that had to possess this desire, right? You had to, first of all, have a big desire for whatever the goal is. And then you had to, you know, create a discipline around consistently attacking that, right?
Yeah. And it was very much going out of my comfort zone because I didn't know, there's so much that I didn't know in speaking English, the slang and I mean, there's, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, very good. Thank you so much for sharing. Does everybody kind of get a feel now for what self-mastery might look like in your business or in your life? And so you can now appreciate even more so that acquiring that is going to empower you, and that's going to help you meet all your goals. The second step out of the 6 personal perspectives is to commit to the 80-20 principle. Who thinks they have an understanding of the 80-20 rule? Go ahead, Robin.
So the principle is whatever you spend 20% of your time on will give you 80% of your results.
So what's our 20%?
Our lead generation.
It's lead generation. That's right. So in our world, that 20% is what we do first, right? It has to be a priority in our calendars, in our days, because that 20% is going to result in 80% of the results, right? And when we say to you over time, you know, are you in your 20%? It's a great way to keep you reined in to time blocking wisely, making better choices with how you spend your time, things of that nature, right? That's a very quick, easy way of accountability is you can examine, and we'll do this later in the course. We do a checklist of prioritizing. This may be important, but is it in my 20%? And can it be delegated? Right? And this is now beginning to think like a business owner who then knows they are going to have to get help to maybe achieve all of their goals, right? So let's talk about the next one, which is number 3. We're going to move from E to P. Now, who has a clue what E to P might mean? Well, it stands for we're moving from entrepreneurial to purposeful, right? So high achievers are always looking for the purposeful way. This is what's also going to help us stay in our 20%. By doing this, they break through the ceiling of the natural behaviors. So let's talk about this because this is human nature, right? Many of us may have some talents that we lean into and we think that it will be sufficient, right, for us to get where we want to go. I'm good at it, we say, right? I'm a natural. It comes so easy for me. Well, it will until it won't, right? Because you can only go so far. Eventually, you hit a ceiling of where your natural behaviors, your natural talents are going to take you. And so what we're going to try to help you with is to be a little bit more purposeful in pushing beyond what your natural behavior is and help you unlock some new behaviors that will give you greater opportunity. Right? Does that make sense? Yes. Because we don't want to stay limited in what's comfortable We're going to purposefully push ourselves out of that comfort zone, and we're going to take on new challenges, which are going to give us greater results. Step 4 is being learning based. What do you think learning based means? You're with Keller Williams. You chose Keller Williams for a reason. And most of us, when you're new to this business, you're attracted to Keller Williams. Why?
The resources
Training.
available to learn.
Training. Yeah, for the training.
Some skills and the training.
That's right, Jane. So then it makes sense that learning based, we say we're a learning based organization, means that we love to continue to develop and learn, right? And you need to stay in curiosity of what else is possible through education and training. It says a learning-based individual is an individual who has made the decision to use effective learning as the foundation piece for their action plan to develop their life. So that's why we do love Keller Williams. After having been in the business as long as I have, I love the fact that there is a new opportunity to learn every day, not only within the industry that we have chosen, but also within the organization that we have chosen. So learning based is step 4. Step 5 is removing your limiting beliefs. Who's ever heard that expression before? Limiting beliefs. Robin, you raised your hand. I didn't see another. Would you like to give us a definition of what a limiting belief is?
Yeah, basically, we all have things that we've learned from like past experiences, and they've caused us to have certain beliefs. And so usually they limit us in some ways. And so we have to become aware of those things and work past those, right? So new behaviors require a new mindset or require a new belief. And so that's what we mean by limiting beliefs.
That is very good, Robin. It says high achievers remove beliefs from their thinking that hold them back. And it's so natural because we're all influenced by our upbringing, by the experiences that we've had, by the people that we, socialize with, our friends, our sphere. And it's very easy to accept limitations based on what we've experienced so far. A lot of people have issues with money. They don't know how to dream big enough around setting the financial goals that you could possibly achieve, right? Some people don't think that they are as smart as someone else. And all of that has no foundation other than those limiting beliefs that we have adopted over the course of our lives. So we're going to push through and kick out all those limiting beliefs. Anything is possible. Everything is possible, right? It just depends on how bad you want it and how creative you get with structuring your plan around achieving it. So we're here to help you with that. We raise successes at Keller Williams every single day. So all we need is a willing heart, somebody that really wants success for themselves. And then we can teach you how to get there through the models and systems that Keller Williams has and through our abundant mindsets, right? We believe all things are possible. So step 6 is accountability. Okay, sometimes this feels like going to the principal's office, right? Accountability is really one of the pivotal pieces of achievement, because if you have accountability, not only to yourself, but hopefully to a partner or to, a spouse or to, another family member. I always laugh and say your best accountability partner is a child that you have promised to take to Disney World if you hit a certain goal, right? Do you think they're going to be asking you at the end of every day, how'd you do, Mom? How'd you do, Dad?
Every day.
Did you get that listing? Did you take that buyer out? right? Yeah, those are some really good accountability. But it also helps you understand that accountability is really not about judgment. It's about, just holding you attentive really to what you've already said you want. It's about your goals. It's about what you want to achieve, but left to your own self, sometimes you just can, rationalize things. So we're going to talk about, the health of having accountability partners in your life so that you then, have a partner in success and avoid that failure. So talk to me a little bit about that. We've gone over these 6 fundamental perspectives and they all seem pretty reasonable, don't they? Yeah. Well, my hope would be that you'll be able to really embrace them and use them in your businesses and in helping you achieve your goals. So this class, we talk about, getting the most out of this Ignite experience. And my hope for you is that you were so excited about this opportunity to take Ignite so that you then can really be thoroughly introduced to what this is going to take to be successful. And you want to be good at your craft, right? You want to be skilled, and that will empower you. But there are some people who think, well, I got to be here. I need that 25-hour post license, or, they said that this was a requirement, to launch my business at Keller Williams. And those are the people that will miss their greater opportunity. Would you agree? Yes. And I know it's a huge commitment. Trust me, 3 days a week, 3 hours and 15 minutes a day, right? Sitting in front of a Zoom, for goodness sake. It was hard enough to sit in a classroom. But now that we have to do it in this format, it really is challenging and it's a huge commitment. And we respect you for putting yourself in the position to do it. But I promise you, when you graduate Ignite, you will be equipped to go out there and do anything that you desire in this business, right? Ignite is your launch to a great opportunity, to a great industry, to a great income potential. And this is the beginning. So embrace it and don't be, we laugh. There's the prisoner who has to be here. I have to be here. Then there's the vacationer. And this is the person that is like, well, it's training. I don't have to lead generate because I'm in training, right? These are the people that enjoy having a legitimate excuse not to be doing what they need to do. And then, of course, there's the explorer, and that's the person that really loves this opportunity because they know how beneficial it's going to be to them in the long run. So over the course of the course in the Ignite schedule, you'll be having, there's the action reveal, and that is you're going to have the results of your choices of activities and actions that you're taking during the course, because there's going to be some home study. And let me share with you, when we offered Ignite in the classroom environment, and we typically would do it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And the reason we did that was because it did allow for you to have these in-between days, which we called mission days. Those were the days where you took what you learned from class and you tried to execute or implement it in your business. And there was some, advanced learning and skill development. We would suggest that you watch some videos. We would suggest that you do some other activities. This is where you would want to go out and preview homes. And we're going to talk about those types of activities. You don't have the luxury of that when you're back to back like we have to do now. We do Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. But all the while, these mission task list are pretty important. And so I ask you to look for them in your materials because they are going to give you some good guidance around what you might want to do while you're not in class. The hope would be that we introduce to you enough that when you leave this environment, you go and do some self-study to dig a little bit deeper into what was discussed in the classroom. These mission sheets, these mission days, give you the opportunity to be a little bit more purposeful in what we think might be beneficial to you. So you want to make sure that you are taking advantage of everything in this experience, right? Let me tell you too, as a student, you're going to be expected to complete the following things, right? We're going to understand and declare our personal big why. We're going to set some monetary goals. We're going to be accountable to your big why and those goals. And we're going to use scripts and dialogue to help us get comfortable with using influential sales language. Does that sound good? Everybody says, yeah, I can't wait. Bring it on. I know you are. I know you are. So in order to maximize your learning, your Ignite faculty is committed to devoting the majority of the time on activities. So a lot of our class is going to be spent after today working on activities. We have some activities today, but because it's day one and we didn't have the advanced mission task for you to do before this class today, we're not expecting some of what we would normally, but moving forward, there's going to be an allotted period of time in every class that they're going to want you to exercise some of what you're learning. And it may be calling into your sphere. It may be doing some handwritten notes. It may be, working on other activities, but the bulk of it will be all lead generation strategies, right? Because we want you to start getting comfortable and consistent, even though you're still in class, with generating business. Because what we say, if you're in real estate, what is your job? Lead generation. Okay. So we're going to help you with all those things along the way, and you're going to have some phenomenal instructors that are really going to help you get comfortable with some of that uncomfortableness. All right.
Can I say something?
Certainly.
So I just realized, y'all, that I did not read this important letter from Outfront Education. So I need to read this to you real quick, and I will sign that I read it to you. This is from Outfront Education, our school that processes our credit. Notice to students, Outfront Education is approved by the Georgia Real Estate Commission to offer continuing education courses. The school code is 6333 and the renewal date of December 31st, 2024. Outfront Education school policies can be found on the website at outfronteducation.com. This program meets the requirements of the Georgia Real Estate Commission for the 25 hours of post-licensing plus 9 hours of CE or the 33 hours of CE credit. In order to receive credit for this course, you must be on time and be present for all 12 sessions. Once the instructor begins, you will not be allowed in the room. Obviously, we're not in a room, but if you are in a Zoom session and you are late and you're not in the screenshot, then you will be marked absent for that day. So please be on time. Your completion information will be electronically transmitted to the Georgia Real Estate Commission via their online course completion system upon successful completion no later than 7 business days or thereafter. Entrance qualifications of standard completion will not be based on the student's race, color, sex, religion, national origin, familial status, or handicap. And that's it. Thanks. Sorry.
We interrupt this message. We interrupt this broadcast for a special message from Jill Morenza. Thank you, Jill. That should have been read at the beginning of the class, but you were probably better prepared for it now, right? Than you would. Yeah. This is what you call
Winging it.
faking it till you make it. You're going to learn that expression in this class, right? We do. All right. Let me just say a couple other things about some ground rules. Jill went over some. Of course, you want to be on time and you want to be engaged. And it's really challenging not to be tempted to be on your phone or to be on doing something else. If you're like me, I have a laptop over here during some of my, meetings that I have to do too. And that's a no-no. You want to be really engaged. You want to give your best here, right? You don't want to miss something that could change your life. So it doesn't feel like it might, but you never know. But also too, respecting each other's learning styles, right? And when we're in the classroom, this tends to be a little bit more of an issue occasionally with, people who want to talk more than the others and that kind of thing. I would beg for somebody to talk more than the others. Okay. Do you know how challenging it is to lead a 3-hour class when you're doing all the talking? But the truth is we want to respect each other's learning styles and we want to be considerate of each other's input. And sometimes, especially in this class, we talk about, bigger dreams, big why, things of that nature. And sometimes it is personal. And so we want to make sure that we are respecting everybody's confidence in sharing. We want people to share so that we can connect and bond at a higher level. But we also too want to respect that may be confidential and we want to keep those secrets, okay, in this classroom. All right, so let's move on. There are going to be 4 skills that we're going to focus on initially. All right. And those are, that skill number 1 is going to be know your big why. When I say your big why, I mean, is that like of course everybody get that? Or should there be more conversation? We're definitely going to talk more about what your big why is. Your big why, that was a big why right there, right? But your big why really is that thing that you're passionate about, that you want this for, right? In many cases, we may love what we do in this business, but at the end of the day, it's what we've chosen to earn income to fund our lives, right? And so in many cases, the monotony of the day in, day out, because once you really learn how to do this at a high level, you'll have models and systems in place and you'll become a little bit more robotic, right? It'll be repetitive. The beauty of the industry is that the people keep it exciting, right? Always trying to solve each other's problems. That's what we get to do. We consult and help people make good decisions for themselves. And so knowing your big why is what's going to motivate you on those days when it doesn't feel so much fun, right? But then if we can always stay connected to why we do what we do, that's typically your big why, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve through this opportunity. And then of course our monetary goals, which are a big part of our big why for most of us, because we may love what we do, but at the end of the day, we are hoping that we'll be highly financially successful so that we then can fund those other things that we want out of life. We're going to talk about a commitment to daily lead generation. We're going to use influencing sales language. There's a way to say what you want to say that has a greater outcome, a greater result than just saying sometimes. So we're going to focus on some good ways to say things to get people to think the way you need them to think about what they're doing. And then we're going to have the accountability piece to your big why and your monetary goals. So those 4 skills are what we're going to sharpen through the Ignite experience. Okay, so let's talk about our big why. I'm on page 19, if that is in sync with your materials. And it's all about understanding this big why and our monetary goals. So let's talk for a few minutes. What drives you is not only your mindset. We've covered mindset and attitude, but what is it that you're passionate about, right? Do you think that you got into real estate because you have a passion for real estate? Some of us did, right? But some of us looked at this as a great industry and a great vehicle to be able to do something bigger than that, right? Anybody comfortable to share with me?
Well, to be able to provide for your family.
Absolutely. Crystal?
I was just going to say that I have a special needs daughter and her therapy is going to be about $900 a month. So I was just looking for, some additional income to help pay for her therapy.
That's a great goal.
Yeah.
And we can use that when we're setting your monetary goal, right?
Yeah.
Because you now know what financially you need for this bigger why,
Yeah.
right? That's a good point. What else? What stirs your soul, right?
I want to help other people and just grow my lifestyle as well. I want to invest in other properties for myself. I was reading the book that you gave me, Cece, and it made me see a different vision that I can become anything I want to be. And I tell my children that all the time. You can, as long as you put your mind to it, you can do those things. So one of my goals is that once I get started and on my feet, save a little bit so that I can purchase a home every year, a rental property every year.
That's a great goal, Desiree, and you can do it. You absolutely can do it. Any of you can. Gary Keller says that anybody can, just not everybody will, right? And you are the group that are going to do what it is that you set out to do, right? Very good. So that's what we're going to talk about, is that big why, because it says the journey requires discipline and commitment to follow models, systems, and a schedule every day. I highlighted this in my this next sentence in my materials because it requires passion towards something bigger than the task at hand. That is what your big why is, right? It requires a passion towards something bigger than the task at hand. So first of all, we have to have a big why, which is built around your passion. And then you follow the models you'll learn in this course. You'll keep doing it and you will achieve grand success. So that formula looks like passion for big why plus following the models plus time on task over time. You'll hear that expression a bit, right? Because it's consistency. That's what that is saying. Time on this task over time, which is going to equal the success you're looking for. Top agents can all articulate their big why, and you will be able to as well. A big why is what keeps them going when they're tired or bored or disappointed. It's the spark that ignites their way every day. So your big why. So how many of you are already embracing a thought, right? What is that? What is your big why? Is it to have your financial success tied directly to your efforts instead of a salary controlled by the opinions of a boss? Doesn't that feel good to know that no one ever else will be able to tell you what you're worth? You'll have that opportunity every single day to give yourself that, what you're worth, to build your own business. Absolutely. There's nothing greater than having your own business and being your own boss. It comes with responsibility. Yes, it comes with accountability, but there's nothing better than that. And to achieve a bigger life through your business. Your business is the vehicle. The business is what's going to fund your future. So there's an exercise in your materials that we like to read just to ignite your passion so that you can envision yourself living the dream that you have, right? So let's propose that it's 12 months from now, right? It's going to be March 1st, 2022. You've got a year under your belt. Think about this. If you want, close your eyes and really digest that this is you. You're thriving. Your business is thriving. Your life is coming together. It's beginning to be everything you dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value that you bring them. They think of you when they have a real estate need. Nobody else. Your family and your friends are so proud of you and your success, and they're consistently referring business your way. You're helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. That's that coming from contribution, being more concerned about them than you. You're building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationships and experiences and the income you desire. You're at the top of the charts in the Market Center's rankings. Maybe you're Rookie of the Year with your first full year in this business. You're poised to have a part-time assistant. You're already so busy, you need leverage through someone else to help you out. They are going to handle your 80% while you take care of that 20% and continue to grow your business bigger and bigger. You're truly on the path to building a career worth having, a business worth owning, a life worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. Digest it. Is this you? You don't look like it. Some of you aren't smiling as big as you ought to be smiling. Look at you, Desiree. Yes. Believe that, because if you don't believe it, is anybody else gonna? You gotta believe that that is exactly where you're headed, and you've got to hit it every single day without any excuses. I believe in you. So does all of the other team leaders and support staff in all of our market centers. Our top producing agents want to pour into you to give you every opportunity to succeed. So don't settle, right? You don't have to. Don't settle. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your big why. I actually want you to take a few minutes because we are going to start setting some monetary goals. And just like Crystal, she gave us insight. You have to have somewhat of a plan around that big why so that you can attach some financial goals to it. So for our exercise with financial goals to have more meaning for you, let's spend a few minutes here really focusing on what could that big why be. Now, this doesn't mean that this is the big why of your life. No, this is your big why, this chapter, right? Just right now, right? You know, what is that expression we always say? He doesn't have to be Mr. Right. He just needs to be Mr. Right now. Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're just doing our right now big why. Okay. And think about it. What is your driving motivation? What is that why, that goal for your career in real estate? What will achieving your goal mean to you, for you? In what ways will it change your life? What doors will open up for you? This is a little exercise. The questions are on page 21. I'll be glad to reread them for anybody who doesn't have materials in front of them. But spend a few minutes thinking about those questions. What's your driving motivation? What will achieving the goals mean for you? In what ways will it change your life? and what doors will open for you. We'll take a few minutes and then hopefully some of you will want to share. The next part of the exercise you might go ahead and add in is to try to compose one sentence that embodies all of that, your passion. What would it do for you? This is going to become your mission statement. So hard to know how long. Would be like halfway. Okay. Is it coming easy for you? Is it challenging some of you? When somebody's ready and willing, I'd love for you to share with us your mission statement.
I'm ready, Cece. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, Kathy. Fabulous.
Mine is I want to help families find a home of their dreams while fulfilling my financial freedom.
Very good. I like it a lot because it's digestible, right? Short to the point, but it says a whole lot in a few words. Very good.
We have the same mission statement. It was just reversed. I said financial freedom while helping others find their dream home.
Oh, Lord, that's funny.
That's very good.
Mine is very similar too. I said to serve others in finding that perfect home for them while being able to contribute monetarily to our family and also have flexibility to spend time with my family.
Very good.
So mine is a little long-winded. And it's my motivation is to help others achieve their home ownership dreams. By focusing on helping others get what they desire, I'm building the foundation and momentum for my entire career while gaining relationships, experiences, and the income I desire. And it's a kind of collaboration between two of the above and a little bit of just what I've been thinking on.
I think it's great, Delana, because, there's no rules around what is going to be your driving force, right? It can be as long or as short or as specific or as, all encompassing. Very good. I love the sharing. Anybody else?
Go ahead.
You go ahead. You can go ahead first. I'll wait.
This is Bala. My goal was to understand this business, serve the community, and also achieve the financial goals and personal satisfaction. When I say serve the community, one of the things I found out was in the past couple of weeks, I made a lot more friends than what I had before. Right?
Well, that's the trick, right? We want to broaden that because, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, Bala, but yes, you definitely want to expand your relationships. Very good. And if you can do that while serving your community, it's fantastic. Yes.
Thanks, James.
No problem, man. Now, mine was kind of similar to yours, as a matter of fact. Just teaching my younger family and the younger people in my community about the power of investing into real estate, so possibly, they too can possibly generate their own wealth as they get older, because, where I'm from, and I know my upbringing, real estate investing and all of this, it wasn't really like a household brand, something that we touched on a lot. And I kind of want to change that.
That's fantastic, James. That is definitely something that will empower you to hit your goals. Yes.
Yes, mine is very similar to that.
Yes, Alicia.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback on James. Yeah, mine was similar to that, and just kind of creating the expertise to teach, a lot of younger generations how to build generational wealth through real estate, because it's very important.
Very good. Someone call my name?
I did, Rochelle. I had a question for you. The vision that we make right now, our mission statement right now, is that subject to change as well as we get more into the business? Because what we're saying right now, in a year from now, it may be different, or it could very well be the same. Is that correct?
That is so correct. Yes, because you are going to be growing and changing. So it's understandable that your big why could too, right?
Right.
And that's the beauty of it. That's why I said it's not, it's not the only big why. Typically we have a bunch of big whys that get us to our bigger why, right?
Right. Well, and one thing I'd like to say was in keeping with what Alicia said, because I feel the same way. I have run across so many people who have the desire to be homeowners, but feel like they can't do it. And I just feel like for me, it is one of my main goals is to show them, oh, yes, you can do this. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to be that person that helps you to do this. I'm going to be your quote unquote, your dream merchant. Okay. So that's kind of how I perceive this real estate. And, just to give you a little bit of background quickly about me, I retired after 34 years with Allstate Insurance Company as a field sales leader. And there's a lot of similarities of the insurance business and real estate, but I really feel like the American dream is home ownership. That's probably one of the biggest financial investment that you will ever make in your life. And again, for me, my thing is I'm going to help that person who thinks they can't. I'm going to show them, yes, you can. That's me. That's my goal.
Rochelle, that's when you take this to a whole nother level of significance, right? And that's what we hope for. We start out with coming from contribution and serving and helping. And we do all of that with all the best of intentions. But the reward that we get from that journey is significance. And there's got to be nothing sweeter than to have known you were significant in changing a life or helping a life or leading them to, a greater vision for themselves. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Very, very good. So I think now we are getting the feel for this, right? Right. Good job. All right. So let me ask this road stopping question. What could get in our way? Right? What could get in the way of us achieving that big why?
Ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. Ourselves.
That's right.
Out. Cece, you didn't see my face. I was like, that's a trick question because we can be the only ones to do that.
Well, yes, yes. At the end of the day, that would be yes, right? But through some of our best intentions and such innocence, right? It's all that going back to limiting beliefs and, believing that you got to be an expert and, getting ready to get ready. That's my pet peeve in this business. I got to know everything. I got to know how to do all that technology. I got to be the best marketing person. I got to do this. No, you don't. You got to pick up the phone or go knock on a door or bump into somebody in the grocery store accidentally on purpose, right? With your name badge on, right? It's all about going out and just making relationships, because at the end of the day, that is truly all this is, right? We are going to gather an audience of people. And right now, your phone is your database. You've got names, addresses, maybe not. You've got names, telephone numbers. We need addresses, emails, birthdays, anniversaries. We're going to build a database with all that information on our clients. And then our job is going to be every day, we're going to nurture those relationships, all the while branding ourselves in their minds to be their resource for real estate. Right? Because what we know is life is going to cause them to need the resources of a real estate agent. Everybody needs housing. Buy, sell, invest, or rent, right? And we want to be the only person they think about when that happens, right? The husband comes home and says, we're being transferred. And the wife says, wow, well, let's call, Lynn or James or Daniel. Let's call, because they've been so loyal. They send us a monthly newsletter. They call us once a quarter. They always are asking how they can be of help to me. They send me market trends and information about the community. They're just so attentive to us, right? And they know exactly who to call when that life event causes them to need real estate services. And that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to find more and more people to put into that database. And then we're going to put them on what we call smart plans, to where we stay in touch with them on a consistent, regular basis. And really and truly, that is how you build your business. And then you get a couple of satisfied clients out of that group, and then they become your best marketing pieces. They start sharing with all of their sphere how awesome you are. And then you start really gaining some momentum, right? And your business blossoms. And it will perpetuate itself for years and years and years, because we want to be their realtor for life. Repeat, referral business. All the while finding new people to make new relationship with. We can do that, right? Easy peasy. Yes. So we're not going to let anything stand in our way. We're going to go out and just love people, help them, take all those passions of goodness that you have and go out and build a great business for yourself. All right, so let's talk about some monetary goals. Who wants to talk about that, right? How do we hit the goal, Cece? I want to make, 6 figures in this first year. How do I go about doing that? Anybody interested in finding that out? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So this is what we're going to do. We have to have a goal in mind, right? So pull that out of your hat. Crystal, think bigger than just $900 a month for your child's needs, right? Think bigger than that. You're muted, doll. Crystal, you're muted.
Sorry, I do it just in case she's screaming downstairs. Yeah, the 900 is like 10% of what I would like to bring in a month, because I would still like to pay for taxes and, all kind of investments and travel as well. So.
Yeah. Very good. So that's my point, is dream big. And then I'm going to show you how we back in to setting that, to really realizing that your goal is attainable. So on page 23 in your materials, there is an example, and I'm going to read from that, and then we're going to work through an exercise of your own. In this example, it's saying that whatever your goal is, right? You put in a monetary amount in there. And the reason I said 6 figures is inevitably that's what most people say. I want to make 6 figure. What a lot of people should do, if you're a dual career and you are transitioning into this industry, think about what you would need to replace the income that you won't leave, right? What is that? Whatever that income is, right? If you're worried about benefits, then add in those benefits. What is it worth to you a year? $9,000, $10,000, right? Come up with a figure in your mind of what you want that goal to be. And then we're going to take it and digest this with, or dissect this with taking an average sales price. This is how you'll find out when, in the future, when you have something that you want to afford, we relate it to transactions, right? Well, that's 2 units, or that's 4 transactions, or, you know, you'll see how that works out here in a minute. But now that you've gotten your goal, let's look at what it takes to achieve it. So if your average sales price, and in this example, the average sales price is reflected as $200,000. Well, in Metro Atlanta, depending on where you are geographically, that average sales price could be anywhere from $200,000 to $600,000, right? But for example's sake, we're going to work with the $200,000. And then we also hope that the listing agent is always successful in negotiating a 6% commission. That can always be negotiated, but that has been what the market has been supportive of here for quite some time. So assuming that the listing agent was successful in getting a 6% commission, they would know then that they would share that, of course, with the agent who's representing the buyer. So 3% is what each agent would hope to be able to receive. 3% of that 200,000 then is what generates that 6,000 average commission, right? So if you took that 6,000 and then you divided that into whatever your monetary goal was, you'll come up with how many units, how many transactions, how many families. Let's think of it as how many lives we would have impacted with home ownership, or helping them relocate, or helping them move up or downsize, right? Liquidate family assets. How many transactions would that be? Who wants to give out a number?
22.
Go ahead, Daniel. Oh, I'm sorry, Kathy. Good. 22. All right. That's good. Daniel, what?
17.
17. All right. So now let's think about that. Okay. 12 months in a year. You need 22 transactions. You need 17 transactions. That's not even 2 a month. Right? Then you start realizing, well, wait a minute. What if my average price was 400,000? How many units would you need? Right? Maybe 14, right? Maybe 13. Kathy, to your point, maybe 16. So your price point is always going to be the variable, but the point of the exercise is to help you start really realizing that those goals are attainable. They are. And then, of course, you can play this exercise every which way, up and down, right? Larger average sales price, more monetary goal, less goal, however you want to spin it. But that's where we begin, because we have to know where we want to go so that we can back into what's the beginning point for us to be able to obtain those goals. Now, what you also want to do, and you'll see that goes into further explanation on page 24, was that a gross amount that you set? So let's say you wanted to earn $100,000. Is that your gross or is that your net? Right? And so you want to account for that. Gross is your net is what you bring home. So the net is what you need to make work for you. So then you take that gross and you have to pad it with the monies that you're going to contribute to Keller Williams. Also, you want to set aside some of your, tax money. If you have business expenses that you want to run through your business, some people do their car payment. Some people have, a home office or an offsite office. Whatever other expenses you feel like you're going to run through your business, well, you would have to account for all of that in your calculation. So now all of a sudden, depending on what tax bracket you're in, and your cap that you'll pay to Keller Williams, $100,000 now may become $130,000. You follow my thought? So then you take that amount and you divide it by the average sales price, the average commission, and that'll help you get a little closer to the realistic number of what you would want. Now, understanding all the while you're a business owner, and you'll have the luxury of offsetting some of that income with the write-off of some of those expenses. So that's going to be an added value that you haven't had in the past if you've been on a salary or a fixed compensation. So you can see over the next couple of pages, they go into a little bit more explanation of what I've summarized for you. But what I want to get to is the commitment to that lead generation. So let's talk about this, right? If I need, let's see, Daniel had 17, Kathy had 22. Let's say 20. We're going to go with a compromise, right? Let's say we want 20 transactions. How are we going to get those 20 transactions? What has to happen? And that's the way I always back down to what's the first thing to do? What's first things first? So what we're going to do is we're going to have to create our own formula for success. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we're conscious about tracking our activities. So in other words, if I'm going to time block for lead generation every day, how much time am I going to commit? All right, so let's be conservative, right? Maybe let's just talk about an hour. An hour out of every day, I have to lead generate. And in that hour, my objective would be to connect with 10 people. What does connect with mean? Is that leaving a message? No. We want to have a conversation with someone. So then we start realizing, well, wow, if I want to connect with 10 people, I may have to dial, 50, 30, right? And then we start saying, well, is really an hour going to be an adequate amount of time if I have to connect, right? And so that's how we start fine-tuning our formula for success. But at the end of the day, it's going to look something like this, right? I've decided that I am going to commit to 2 hours, 3 hours of lead generation activity. That doesn't mean that you're pounding the phones. That could be that you're posting to your social media. That could be that you're doing some handwritten notes to include business cards. That could be you do a blog with your online presence. That could be that you're going to a networking group, right? Any and all things that are getting you out there with the opportunity to either nurture relationships that you already have or to build that database with new relationships. That's lead generation. So if I know that my track record then is I commit 2 hours to lead generation, I've recognized from consistently doing that I really can only call about 50 people in that 2 hour. and I only really connect with maybe 15. And out of that 15, I usually am only successful in getting an appointment, because at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want an opportunity to go a little bit deeper with them needing some real estate services. So the formula then becomes, I invest 2 hours a day. I make 50 calls. I connect with 15 people. I get 5 appointments. And at first, I may not be spot on with my conversion in getting an appointment to a contract. The ultimate goal is we either want a buyer brokerage agreement or we want a listing agreement, right? That's the beginning. So then we start realizing a lot of things when we're tracking those activities. We start really being able to see, well, I'm weaker in my conversations because I'm not getting the appointment. They are talking to me, but I can't get the appointment. Well, then that's a great coaching opportunity. What are you not saying? What could you say better, right? Perfecting the delivery of that conversation. And then maybe you say, well, no, I get the appointment, but I don't leave with a contract. Okay, well, then there's a conversation, a coaching opportunity around, well, what's your listing presentation look like? What is your buyer consultation? Are you really going deep enough to ask these people the questions that they need to share with you so that you can help them better, right? So that then becomes, and so that's your journey, right, to your monetary goal. And that's why we say tracking your activities is imperative, because if you don't, you won't know how to improve. Does that make sense? Ask me some questions. There's got to be a question out there. Well, Sierra has asked us a question in chat. Jill, you want to answer that for her in chat? Or do you want me to speak to bathroom breaks? Okay.
If you need to leave quick, just go on and come right back. Type in the chat out and then type in the chat in when you get back. Sorry, this is another thing I forgot to go over when we started. Just go quickly. If you're out more than a few minutes, that'll be a problem, but just go do what you need to do. We will have a break in about 20 minutes.
Yes. We had planned at 2:45 to take a
10-minute
break. So yeah, hold on or jump to whichever is best for you. Okay, that was a great question.
I guess I get overwhelmed just thinking about it, because at this point we're just kind of going out and letting our friends and relatives know, and I'm trying to meet with friends and give out my business cards, but I can't even, I guess, how do you even get to the point to if that they need an appointment out of our circle right now, because nobody is selling or buying or thinking about it.
Okay, Sandra, if I may tell you, you just said a limiting belief.
Yes, right? I know.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We cannot buy into the fact that they are, but that is so valid. And I am so glad that you asked the question, right? Because what is the first things first, right? And it really is just reaching out to the people. And here's the thing, just asking them how you could be of help to them. We're not going in for the kill, right? We're not going in for the appointment. We hope that an appointment is what happens, but we go in from this place of, how can I be of service to you? How can I help you? And one of the things that is so beautiful in this business is that we have so many ways to help people that are not about buying or selling real estate. They may say, Sandra, I'm so glad that you called because we've been thinking about finishing off our basement. Do you know a good contractor? And we say, that's awesome. I'm so excited for you. How about I get you a couple of names that you could call and interview, right? Okay. All we're doing is helping them, but that's building that relationship, and that's building our brand of real estate services, right? And so that's what we want to do. You just keep going in and asking how we can be of help. And then we also always want to say, do you know anybody who else that I might could help? Because that's what we want. We want them to expand that relationship into the people that they know. I always tell the agents, it's never just about one piece of business. That relationship is going to be the catalyst to at least 5 or 6 pieces of business over time. Their family members. Yes.
I'm sorry. What do I do in the case where I have someone who asks me, they want to purchase, but they know they have some credit challenges. They asked me for a number of someone who can help them with that. And then maybe in a few months, they can purchase something. We don't know any of that information. Where do I get stuff like that from?
Well, I know that in most all of our market centers, we have lender relationships like we do at Cityside. And those lenders know people who are in credit repair. And typically they will work with them, right? They make the relationship, the lender will make the relationship and then give them good advice around that. Actually, Jill, don't we have a 3-hour CE coming up, I think,
Tomorrow.
with it? Yes, tomorrow.
At 11.
At 11 a.m.
It runs into this though.
Yeah, it does run into this, but even if you could catch, you know, just a little bit of it, you might get some really good. Anybody would be welcome to do that, of course. All of our market centers generously share our education that way. But most of you will have those same things in your market center. But I would ask you to make a relationship with one of your lender affiliates, because they will give you good direction on how they work with credit repair people.
Desiree, I'll send you Connor's information.
Thank you. Thanks, Jill.
But we have to work with our people like that in many cases, especially those of us who are really trying to work with that first-time home buyer, because they don't know what they don't know. And so we need to, you know, I always say we don't have to be the source for everything, but we can be the source of the source, right? We don't have to know everything. We're not going to be able to help them with everything because we can't know in, you know, depth everything they might need to know, but we can have relationships. And that's what I mean by helping, right? We refer them to people that we know can help them, but we get the credit for it, right? Yeah, that nurtures that relationship. What else? Ask me another question. We good?
I don't want to put you on the spot, CC, but would you mind role playing that? Just a situation of you reaching out to a past friend or somebody who you haven't spoke to in 3 years or something, and you just trying to put them in your database, put them on a drip campaign so you can keep reaching out and hopefully get some business. How would you go about calling and having that conversation?
All right, so ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Justin, it's CC Osborne. How are you doing?
CC, oh, hey, what's up? I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. Listen, I know it's been a long time since we've connected, but I have just launched my real estate career, and you were one of the first people I thought about that I'd want to let know. You're such an influencer out in the world, so I wanted to make sure that you knew that and wanted to connect so I could get your address so I can send you some of my business cards.
Oh, nice. Congrats on your real estate career. You said you wanted to send me business cards. What for?
Well, because, you know, I know you run into other people who might need real estate services, and I know you're a connector, so I thought maybe you'd be able to pass the card along to see if I couldn't be of help to some of the friends you have.
Okay, sure. Yeah, why not? I can let some friends know about what you do.
Well, I'd love to be of help to you at some point, Justin. Are you thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate anytime soon?
Well, I just moved to my new apartment like a month ago, but I was thinking about maybe buying a home, you know, when things go back to normal.
Well, that's great because now you can really be preparing yourself for that. And I would love to introduce you to a lender that I know could help you put to put you on the path for that home ownership. How about that?
Well, I wanted to hold off since I just moved into this apartment.
Well, it might be a journey to prepare for that home ownership opportunity. So it doesn't hurt to know what you're up against, so that if it is a process, you'll be able to, you know, have that underway when the time comes for your lease to renew.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I have been worrying about my credit. That's the reason why I haven't really moved on it yet. So would they be able to help me with that?
Yes, actually they will. They may refer you to a third party, but they can certainly put you on the right track.
Okay, yeah, thanks for calling, CC. And yeah, send the information. I definitely want to speak to the lender and see about buying the house.
Great, Justin. Before you go, can I get some updated information? I need your street address and your email address. Would you be willing to share that with me?
Sure.
And that's how it goes. And we're building
That was great.
Good. We're building that database, right? We want names, addresses, emails, birth dates, anniversary dates, their pets' names, their kids' names, you know.
That's what I have a question about.
Yes, Jim.
Say for instance, like this young lady, I approached her at the gas station. I found a familiarity and I approached her, you know, I had my tag on, so I'm dressing casual. So I was business with her and I just asked for a moment of a time. She said she had a moment. We got to the point where she said she might be interested. So I was like, okay, well, can I get your name and your email? And I explained to her about the smart plan that we have. It's like a bi-weekly. But you know, since I was new to her, like how would I go about asking someone that you just met like that? Like say for instance, like she's a young female, she looked good, but you know, I wasn't coming to her like that. But you know, but how would you approach someone like just you're a stranger? Like I kind of played it like I just asked her what area she was more interested in, and she told me Camp Creek, so I said I clicked that for you. But how would you ask a stranger like for their address? Like
Can I help you with that?
Sure.
So I want to help you guys, and I was going to fill this in as, you know, Justin's, he just moved into a new apartment, but you guys, we have Command. Gary Keller committed $1 billion to build our own platform and our amazing technology that we have. So for James, you know, say, hey, you know, I noticed that you have a nice car, or you know, hey, do you live in the area? Are you looking, however you're going to approach them, right? It sounds like you already know what you're doing. You talk to somebody at the gas station, but you say, hey, you know, I'm with Keller Williams, and I don't, you know, if you know, but we are the only real estate company that is actually a technology company. And if you wouldn't mind sharing your information with me, I can set you up so you have your own personalized search page, and we can select neighborhoods anywhere in the country that you may be interested in. And whenever you go to that personal page of yours, you can see everything that's on the market, everything that's for sale, and you can kind of start looking ahead and getting a good idea of what's for sale. Another thing is maybe, you know, like Justin, he just moved into an apartment. Maybe that conversation is, if you know where you would potentially like to buy in the future, I can set you up your own personal search page so you can always see what's happening in those neighborhoods you like. Let's say, for example, Justin just bought his own house. He's like, we just moved in. Well, hey, let me set you up with our own, your own special page. It'll give you an idea of what's for sale around your area, and it'll give you a really good idea of what your home's worth.
So Jill is a big fan of Command, as we all should be. It's a wonderful tool. And quite honestly, we have the pleasure of being with you again tomorrow. And we're going to go deeper into the database. And Jill's going to introduce you to those technologies that then will make a little more sense to you. But to her point is, once you get more comfortable with the tools and the technologies, the resources that you have available to you, the conversation will come so naturally to you, right? Because then you'll know what you can promise. What I was going to say to you, James, is, you know, make sure you offer them a business card if you have one, right? But then you can explain, but I'd love to put you on my neighborhood nurturer. And I would need your email address, right? And make them, feel like, okay, I'm sharing with you my information. I'm valid. Here's my business card, right? But, and then maybe they'd be more comfortable.
And the phone number is just like asking them for the address. That's the part that kind of, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to creep them out.
Well, so don't ask them for their physical address at that point, just their email address, because we can do all we need to do.
Was the right thing, just so much like I asked her what area was she interested in. She said the Camp Creek, because I know you could go on there, like once you get the name and the email and kind of like click the area for them too. So just pretty much that one until I get a better rapport. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. But I will tell you, it's funny that you say that, James, because we had a big conversation back at Mega Camp. Mega Camp is our big agent event that takes place in August. And there's a lot of training and a lot of sharing that goes on there. But we came back from Mega Camp after they introduced a lot of our new technologies, and they said, here we are in real estate, and the majority of our agents do not have physical addresses of the people in their database. Right? So how can you want to sell, how can you want to sell their home when you don't even know where they live, right? Then it's important to have those street addresses so that we can do and be a little more effective with, all that we could do for them, like putting them on drips and including them in different things. So, but that is valid. I appreciate you, James, bringing that up, right?
I will say this, when I run into a person and I'm meeting them and we're talking and they say they already a homeowner, now I do use that. I say, well, if you give me your address, I can kind of keep you in the know for your specific area. It's easier with the person who already homeowner. It's just I'm having a problem with the buyers and getting their addresses, but I guess I'll figure it out.
I would use, to Jill's point, just use the same tactic. Don't let your head get in the way, right? It's just a conversation. It's just a relationship. That's what I can't encourage.
Ask them the address of the area they're in, and I can let them know, keep you in the know with the price range. I got you. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. I'm blocking myself. I was blocking myself then. You just helped me.
That's exactly right. We all have them and we all do it, and we do it unconsciously. So don't get so hung up on that. But sometimes hitting those uncomfortable things head on is like, don't mistake this for, a pickup line, but could I have your address? Right. Okay. And then you're disarmed, right? We've already got the, elephant in the room out of the way, and we can now have the conversation that we want to have, right?
The name tag helps a lot though.
A lot.
With your name tag, they pretty much know you're not you're not about in the funny business. You're professional. You stay professional. They know you're trying to provide them with the service.
Yes, that's correct. And men too, you can get the monogrammed collared, sports shirts that, are monogrammed with embroidered with the KW emblem on there. And that's very comfortable, right? It's just your clothing. So yeah.
I also have a little tip to share. And I mean, as much as I hate the mask, somebody gave me a mask that says, ask me about real estate. I was stopped by 5 people wanting to read my mask, and I gave my business card to 3 of them.
That's fantastic.
Because they said, you're a realtor? And I says, yes. Oh, so and so. And so then I'm like, well, here's my card in case you ever want to talk or whatever. So even the little things like that, where you can, get a mask, hopefully we'll get rid of them soon, but get a mask that says KW or real estate or something will be a conversation starter.
Yeah, no, that's very good, Sandra. Very good. All right, gang. Well, listen, so we've covered a lot that we haven't paid attention to in the book, but let's just recap real quick with our lead generation funnel. All right. So we know we have to have leads. The leads are going to come from all those different relationships we just talked about. They're going to come through our social media. They're going to come through our online presence. They're going to come through open houses that we might host. Any and all of those ways we're going to gather leads. And you notice we use a funnel because you're going to have a whole lot of leads, right? By the time they filter through the appointment stage, the agreement stage, and then a contract, a purchase and sale contract, and then a closing. You know, it gets smaller and smaller through that process. So the idea then just visually for you is to have those 20 transactions that we need to have in a year to meet our financial goal. Then we are going to have to keep that lead area robust all the time. That's why lead generation is so very important. We're going to skip over to page 31, and there are 4 powerful habits that we want to adopt. And we call them the 10-4, the daily 10-4. It's, yes, dear.
Quick question. Are we going to review like the scripts for the phone calls? Or
We're
no?
about to do that right now. Yes, we are. We're gonna pop right past this. It's the very next thing we do.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, that's what we will do. Let me finish this and then we'll take the break. And then when we come back, we'll go right into scripts. Okay. These 4 habits, we've pretty much touched on them already, but let's put them in some kind of order. We're going to grow and manage our database. So our goal initially would be that we want to add 10 new contacts into our database every day, right? If that's the goal, even if we get 5, we're doing really, really great, right? We just want to go for 10 new contacts every day. If we're adding, think about that. If you're adding 10 contacts a day, day after day, over the course of a year, you've grown your database by what? You know, a lot of contacts. We want to speak with 10 people in your database. This is our prospecting, right? This is where we're going into the relationships we already have, and we can role play around that too. But basically that is just saying, hey, I was just checking in, right? How's the family? We use a comfortable approach to the conversation. We call it the Ford approach, where F is for your family. How's your family? The O is for your occupation. How's your work going along? The R is recreation. Have y'all gone on any camping trips this year? You might know that they are big avid campers, or they like to fish, or whatever that might be. And then the D is, of course, their dreams, right? So are you still working towards owning that lake place, or, you know, whatever you know about them, or what you can find out about them. But it's just relational, right? But it keeps you real comfortable in the conversation when you have a plan around how you're going to take the conversation, right? And so then follow up. We know that the handwritten note is very powerful. So if I just had gotten off the phone with Justin, and I would have immediately written him, hey, Justin, it was great connecting with you today. Thank you so much for, you know, supporting my business. Here's the cards I promised you, right? You put some business cards in there. That's where that street address, though, we can't send a handwritten note if we don't have the street address to be able to do that. But that is very effective in really making them realize that they're not just a number, that they are a relationship when they get a handwritten note. And then knowing your market. This is what I spoke to earlier about previewing homes. If you owned a retail store, you would know what you had on your shelves, right? Well, we are in the real estate industry, and we have to know what we have available. So we have to stay abreast of what is actively marketed out there. So you can do this either through the MLS, and you can go through and search for different homes in different areas, or you can physically go out and preview a home that is actively listed. It's a great exercise when you're new. You could take a family member, you could take a friend, and go through a mock showing them this home. Heck, they may end up buying it. You never know, right? But you need to practice so that you're so comfortable in that process. So those are our habits, right? We want to add people to our database. We want to connect with the people that are already in our database. We want to do the handwritten notes when possible, and we want to know what's on the market. We want to become the neighborhood experts around inventory, especially since inventory is a challenge for us right now. So those are your 4 habits that you'll want to focus on. All right, everybody, let's take a break, 10 minutes, if you will, then hop back on here and we will practice some role play and some scripts, okay?
Don't log out. Be back at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
You can turn your camera off if you'd like.
Yeah. Thank you, Jill.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Mel, how are you? Hope you're doing well.
I've been well. I've been concerned about you. Like, where have you been?
I know. I think things are going well. Just trying to get things set up on the social media, and it's been a little bit slow, but things are going well.
Listen, I'm here for you. Guess what? I have some news to tell you too.
What?
You need to call me.
Okay.
Yeah, you just need to call me.
Okay, I definitely, I will.
I have a listing.
No, you don't. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Just call me.
Oh, I will. I definitely will. After this.
Hey, you know what, you two, I really love you for sharing. And that is what we hope from this group, really. You know, when we talk about, you know, buddy systems and accountability and all of that, it's so healthy when you can partner up like that and support each other, and even accountability groups, you know. And don't be shy. You just reach out to each other and say, you know, oh, I like the looks of him. I think I'm gonna call him up and see if he wants to be a part of my accountability group. Or
They can be your friend even if you don't like the looks of them.
Well, no, I didn't mean it like that. Well, you might say, oh, look, he has a great book on his shelf behind him. Oh, yeah, he needs to be in my accountability group, right? Yeah, there you go.
Like James said, he's worried about people taking the wrong.
Yeah, we don't want to be accused of hitting on somebody, or maybe. All right, gang. I see everybody so prompt, popping back on. Good job, good job. All right, so we're going to get comfortable with some scripts. Let's talk about scripts. Who in their past has had to work from scripts in a role or a job that you've held? Okay, Mo, we see you. April. Yeah, Akira, Daniel. What did you think about working with scripts?
I kind of veered off because I have my own kind of personality and the way I connect with people. Not that strips are not genuine, but I feel like coming from me, the customer can kind of feel that when you're real and you're reading a script. It just made me comfortable to do my own. I was able to own it and they felt comfortable. So
I always like to write my own too. Like they'll give me certain things that I need to hit, key points and stuff, and then I like to write it like I would say it. So
that's so good. That's good input. Because I would fair to guess that anybody that has ever felt like they had to work from a script would say, it's not me. It's not the way I talk, right? And so in many cases, you know, we shy away from the scripts just because of that. And yes, you know what the truth of it is that anything that we do on a daily basis becomes a script, even if it's your own, right? If you worked for, you know, Disney, let's say, and you were in a role of having the same spill with every group that came through, right? Even if you had written it yourself, even if it was your normal casual conversation, it becomes a script, right? And so we have to understand that we will become scripted because of the repetitiveness of what we say in many cases. But there is value in scripts. Number one, when you're new, scripts help you know what to say or to come across with a depth of knowledge that you might not actually have yet, right? Scripts can be really cool for those reasons. Because we want to be able to talk to anybody and have you know, a prepared statement, so to speak, a prepared conversation. So if somebody did say, oh, you're in real estate, right? We want to be able to have a prepared response to that. And that even if it's our own and we've written it, it becomes our script. So if we want to get real purposeful, like we talked about earlier, from going from E to P, entrepreneurially, what we would say as comfortable conversation for us might only take us so far. We might need the power of a script to take us to that more purposeful level, right? Because we're not going to be able to say maybe the things that we need to say to help people be influenced by us or to think the way we want to think. You'll hear oftentimes that in scripts, there are things such as embedded commands. And so in a lot of cases, when I'm talking, I will say, right. My grandson said, you say right a lot, Grandma. And it's like, yeah, because I'm trying to get you on my page, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about when we have these embedded type of commands. More professionally, we would say, yeah, it would be closer to your work, right? Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree as a leading statement to get people to think the way you need them to think so that they'll make a good decision for themselves? And that's the value of scripts. It helps us lead people into thinking the way we know they need to think to help them make a good decision for themselves. And sometimes when we're just speaking in our casual conversation, we would miss the greater opportunity of pulling them into action that would maybe benefit them and us in the long run, right? But that's not to say you can't write your own script. You just have to be prepared with that script when the time calls for it. But scripts can be very cool. And to most of us, they are uncomfortable at first. But if we practice them and we then start adding a little of our own personality or our own way of saying things, but not abandoning all that is in there that's intended to lead the thinking the way we want it to go, that's what happens over time. But you have to practice and digest the scripts in its initial format to be able then to spin it into your own comfort conversation. Jill, are we teed up? You want to show them that little video? There's a video that we can show you. It's just a few minutes long, but it is called How to Use Scripts. And I want you to listen to it because I want us to pull some things out of it afterwards to discuss.
Hi, I'm Jeff Glover, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent at the office, your team leader, a MAPS coach, or of course Keller Williams University. Step 2, we're going to need to do a total transformation of, instead of talking and telling, of asking questions. Selling isn't telling, selling is asking a series of questions that leads to desired response. So instead of talking so much, we need to get in the habit of asking questions. And asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Control of the conversation gives us our ultimate outcome, which is an appointment set or a closing. Step 3, we need to listen with good intentions. Well, what I mean by that is we need to listen to their answers instead of just listening to them talk and asking another question that comes to mind. For example, instead of asking a seller where they're moving to and then going on to the next question, how soon would you like to be there? Ask them, where are you moving to? And when they give you a response, ask them, what takes you there? Step 4 in becoming better at scripts is we need to learn to mimic, mirror, and match the prospect. What I mean by that is we have to listen to their tone of voice. We have to speed up or slow down based on how fast the prospect is talking. That means when they respond and say, we're moving to Toledo, oh, Toledo, that's exciting. What takes you there? 93% of communication is body language and tonality. And that means only 7% are the words that we say or the questions that we ask. Step 5, we need to take these 5 points and practice them daily. If you think of NFL teams, they practice 50, 60 hours on the practice field for a 1-hour game. Our game is our presentations and our appointments, and we need to practice daily everything that we've learned every single day before we meet with our clients. When it comes to scripts, my biggest aha is that everybody has their own scripts. We're pre-programmed to have scripts, and we're talking and asking questions that are scripted. However, what we found is that most of our own scripts are no good. And so we have to learn the right scripts, the right questions to maintain control of the conversation. Thanks for watching KW Connect. Make it a great day.
Okay, so what did you hear him say? What was a pointer you took from that?
Stay in control of the conversation. Ask a lot of questions. Mind their mannerisms and their tone.
Very good, Desiree. You do believe that by asking questions that you actually are controlling the conversation, right? A perfect example of this is we get in such a habit of, you know, how are you doing? And they say, well, you know, da, 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 or whatever. They go on, they start giving us a lot of information that we would maybe not have felt comfortable to ask, but we are going to receive it just by the right question to say. So that's what he's talking about is, but the problem we often have is we don't really listen to their answers. We ask questions, but we're already thinking about what we're going to ask next, right? Before, and not really listening. So it's really important that we listen so that we can get more information than we would, and then be able to ask a greater question, maybe a deeper question, right? What else did you hear?
I heard that. Oh, go ahead, James.
Oh, just practice every day. That's it. Practice what you say.
Very
Make it a
good,
part of you. Become it.
Go ahead, Kathy.
That we shouldn't shy away from scripts because we can formulate our own, not necessarily have to use the exact script that someone else gives us, but hopefully the outcome would be the same.
Right. Well, you want to be purposeful in not abandoning, like I said, something that could help you if you just added a word here or a word there. Yeah.
And to practice.
Yes.
It's also important not to create, like, simply rely on your own scripts because they might not be the right scripts for the situation.
That's very good too. Very good. All right, so on page 39, it talks about learning scripts, and it wants to help us learn how to memorize. And I have found that this is challenging in this class to go through the exercises of trying to memorize scripts, but I do want to talk to you a little bit about that. Some of you may be really good at just reading something and then being able to spit it back out. Others of us are a little more challenged with that. So they share with you some memorization steps on page 40 in your materials. And they talk about reading the first sentence of the script and doing that like out loud 5 times. And then, you know, when you read your script out loud, most of the time you're engaging your eyes, your voice, and your entire body, and not just your eyes. So it talks about repeating those same 5. And then when you get comfortable with that, you move to the next line in the script. I don't know, does anybody have a great memorization tool that you'd want to share with anybody? Or are you as challenged as I am with memorization?
I have to write things down first, then read them back, and then recite them over and over.
Very good. Yes. Yes. Well, you're going to have access to some wonderful scripts within your Ignite materials. And also there are some great scripts that are used in Bold. Bold, those of you who haven't been introduced to that, that is like lead generation on steroids. There's a lot of scripting, but you have all that available to you through KW University and KW Connect. So you'll have a bunch of scripts because it said either get them from your team leader or get them from KW Connect or get them from, you know, your productivity coach or your mentor. There's a lot of scripts, but they've thrown a couple in here for us to just get comfortable with. And so I thought that, you know, maybe we could do a little role play. We could do a little exercise. There's on page 43 and 44, it's if you're new to real estate script, or if you're just new to Keller Williams and not new to real estate per se. Or here's one, remind them that you're in real estate. This would be connecting with somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. And then also if you're new to the area and you're in real estate, there's a script for that. And so you can see that it starts off with an introduction, and then there's the rest of the script. So who wants to read it? Who wants to play? Don't be shy, right? You know what they say, the way you behave in here is the way you'll behave out there. We can't be shy. Go, James.
And what's part of my reading? I'm lost.
So you can call me.
Okay, I'm trying to see which page I'm on though.
Are you going to do new to real estate? That one is on page 43.
Okay.
In my materials. It's a kind of small print, so.
Yeah, I see. I printed it out. I'm trying to get all this stuff together.
You're good.
Gotcha.
Ready?
All right. So I'm gonna call you, correct?
Okay.
Okay. Hello. This is oh, that sounded horrible.
You don't. See, that's why I always start with ring, ring. Ring, ring.
Yeah.
Then the person
Ring,
goes, I go, hello.
Hello, this is James. Do you have a moment?
Sure.
I like to share the exciting news that I have become a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty.
Well, that's awesome.
Okay, I'm supposed to let you talk. I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to. Just keep rolling.
With this new partnership, I have all the knowledge working for me. Plus, my clients get all my enthusiasm and hard work. I thought about sharing this with you because I knew you would be someone to help me grow my business.
And then you see how it says the rest of the script. And normally somebody would say, well, thanks, James. I'm glad you included me, right? And then you would go over to the rest of the script where it says, first.
Well, first, I'd like to share my real estate app with you. You can see what's going on anywhere from your street to any place in North America. It's free. There's no cost to you. I can send you a text so you can link to it. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Awesome. And I'd like to ask, who might you know from work, your neighborhood or a group you belong to who's interested in buying or selling a home or investing in real estate Can you think of anyone right now?
You know what, James? No, not right off the bat. I can't.
Thanks for taking a moment to think about it. I have a wealth of interesting and timely information about the real estate market in your area, and I'd love to send it to you. Let me make sure I have your current email and address.
Okay, that would be 123 Main Street, and my email is ccosborn@gmail.com.
And do me a favor, please. If you do hear of someone with a real estate need, will you keep me in mind?
Absolutely, James.
Great. And after you download the app, try it out, send me a text and let me know how you like it.
Okay, I'll be glad to.
Thank you for your time and help. And please let me know if there's anything I can ever do for you.
Thank you, James. Thank you for the call.
You're welcome. Next time I talk to you, I promise you I won't be stumbling over my words, so I promise.
Listen, I thought you did great. It's not, you know what I mean? It's awkward at first.
That's my dog right here. He keep jumping on me like want me to rub him. You know, I just throw him in the camera right quick.
Tell him he's gonna, you're gonna practice your script.
I haven't been talking this whole time and he's just been chilling, like waiting to play. So he think I'm like ready for him. I don't know.
Well, make him your script partner. There you go. All right. So talk to me a little bit about that. Was that an awkward script? You could be honest.
It wasn't bad. No, I don't think it was bad.
I think it was awkward.
I'm going to say it was awkward.
Okay.
And it was good for, like, James, your first time going through, but from hearing you talk so far today, that was not you. Which is why I felt like it was awkward. But if you take the time to read through it and personalize it, now I see what they meant by making it your own. Because you're like, hello, this is James. I'm like, you know your name. At least that part, right? But it's just weird when it says like, hello, this is, and you're like, wait, there's a blank. What do I, like, you're thinking while you're reading. So
listen, I had to
story. Like I felt like I was reading a story and I wasn't, like being myself, like she said.
I was doing some script practice with some peers of mine, and it was kind of like a big deal in front of a lot of peers. And the guy I was supposed to be talking to is Matt, and I go, ring, ring, and he goes, hello, and I said, hey, is this Rick? And then he looked at me like, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I must have the wrong number. I had to get out of that quick. So it's going to happen, right? You're going to definitely we fail our way forward, as we say, right? But I thought that, so let's lighten it up a little bit. Who thinks that they can take what James read and make it a little bit more comfortable for themselves?
I mean, I can try, since I was the one who kind of ran the bus over James.
No, I love you, Delana. Go ahead and tell us,
I'm good. I love constructive criticism. Thank you.
You're such a good man, James. All right, go ahead, Delana.
So do you want me to just read through it, or how?
Well, I'll role play with you just the same way I did with James if you want to, but make it your own. Try to feel it. Because see, if I was doing this, then I would say that, first of all, it helps if you personalize it a little bit, right? So I would have said, hey, James, this is Cece Osborne. Do you have a minute? You see what I mean? So right. That hello right off the bat kind of puts you at like, how often do we go hello, right?
Because this is a friend. This is to remind them you're in real estate. So it's at least someone that you know.
It's someone you know. That's correct. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Ring, ring.
Ring, ring.
Hi, is Cece available?
This is Cece.
Hi, Cece. This is Delana. How are you?
I'm good, Delana. How are you?
Living a dream. Do you have a moment? I just want to catch you up on everything that's going on.
Oh, great. I'd love it. Yes.
Perfect. It's been a while. And first of all, I apologize for not staying in touch. Charge my head, not my heart.
Done.
Perfect. Well, I've been really busy growing my real estate business and working with amazing clients. And I really wanted to take the time to share with you what I've been doing in real estate. Last we spoke, I was doing management consulting, which and it was the bane of my existence. And I felt like I was dying a little every single day. And real estate is really bringing me to life.
I am so happy to hear that.
Perfect. So what I really want to do, I know you're all about philanthropy and helping others. And the reason I got into real estate was really to help others. So what I want to do is this year, help 15 families achieve their dreams as it relates to home ownership, whether that's buying a home for a first time, getting a larger home, or buying their first investment property. And like I work hard and will do what's necessary to help people. So I wanted to know if you would help me help others.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So first, what I want to do is share my real estate app with you so that you can see what's going on in your area. I know you're not open to buying right now. We've talked about that. You're settled. You just kicked the kids out. So you're going to do everything in your house that you want to do. So I don't want to sell your house unless you want to sell it. Then let me know. But this way you can know when you're thinking about those renovations, what's going on in your area, what's really going to bring the most profit to you. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay, perfect. And then secondly, I just want to know, who do you think that you could refer me to in your network, which I know is vast. So from work to volunteering and so forth, or even nonprofit agencies you work with who help find homes for first-time homeowners that you can put me in touch with. So again, I can help others.
You know, Delana, right off the bat, I can't think of anybody, but I sure will keep you in mind if I do.
Perfect, because I always want to be in your mind. Keep me on your brain. And do you mind if I actually send you over just a few of my business cards so that not only am I on your brain, but I'm also in your wallet so that when you talk to people?
That's fantastic. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And also, I just have a plethora of information around real estate that I think would be really helpful for you. You know, right now it's around time to think about the homestead exceptions and things of that nature. So I'd really like to send that over to you so that you can get your exception, especially with real estate coming along, with taxes coming along right now. And all I would need is your email address. Just let me confirm that the one I have is accurate, and also your mailing address. I've switched over iPhone to, you know, not everything comes over.
I understand. Well, my address is 123 Main Street and my email is ccosborn@gmail.com.
Perfect. And that zip code is 30339?
30080.
Okay. Now I'll send it to the right Main Street. And also, if you hear of anyone in need of real estate assistance, do you promise, pinky promise, to give them my information or send them my way?
You can count on it, Delana. It's
Great.
it's been a real pleasure to speak with you today.
You too. And so I'm going to send you over a link to the app via text. Once you download it and browse through it, just can you let me know how you like it so that I can provide feedback to our team as well? So we, you know, they're doing updates all the time and they love consumer feedback.
Yes, absolutely. I will. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Well, Cece, it's been great chatting with you, and I'm going to give you back the rest of your day. But we do need to figure out time for coffee outside now that the weather is breaking. And if we can't touch, we can at least see one another in person.
Yeah, no, I'm ready. I'm so ready for that.
Perfect. Well, great. It was great catching up with you, Cece. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. You too. Okay, so do you see she took this script and
that was awesome.
she made it her own.
Great job.
That was fabulous.
Thank you.
Well, she's so incorporated who she is, right? There was a combination of all of it: the wit, professionalism, care, candor. Yeah, it was all really good. Really good. Delana, it's homestead exemption, though not exception. Okay, I just want to make sure that I protect you there if you're saying.
Right. And after I said, I was like, that's the wrong thing.
Totally cool. If that's the worst thing you ever do, you're going to be a rock star. Okay. All right. What else? Anybody else want to give it a go? Want to role play? Just any questions? You know, what would hold you back? Right. Talk to me a little bit about the challenges that you might experience. You know, let's just be honest.
So being a new agent and not having experience. So how do you what do you have to offer? And I guess, how do you word it so that they don't necessarily, I mean, if you have to, well, you don't have to say you're a new agent, but you want to sound like you're not a new agent. Does that make sense?
Yes, and so that's a great question. And if you notice in that first paragraph and second paragraph, it says, first of all, an agent with Keller Williams, it says, with this new partnership, I have all their knowledge working for me. Right? You could elaborate and say, you know, I have a team, me and my team, because you do. When you join Keller Williams, you're not in this alone. You have a tremendous support system that all of us want to be, you know, there and available to help you get that first piece of business going. So that's when you say that with this new partnership, or I've partnered with Keller Williams, they have a team that is ready to support me in serving you at the highest level. Something like that, to where you don't have to, you know, you can take advantage of what you have available to you, you know, being new or not. It doesn't matter if you have a terrific support system and you're partnered with somebody that we know can serve them at a high level.
And Sandra, oh, go ahead, James.
I just wanted a testimony to that too. Like, we do got a good team to back us up, because I can speak to that. Like, just past weekend, I had a buyer consultation, and I really needed help. And I had my sponsor was on the speakerphone. Jill was helping me on the computer, and I had Miss Jane bringing me my Krispy Kreme donuts that I had for the clients. So yeah, it's a team. Definitely got some good team, a good team members backing us. So.
And also when it comes to saying you have a team, so I'm also a certified doula. I don't have any children. So my first birth, it was like, well, what do you know? But I have a whole team of people, and it's the same, except there I say there's a village, and we all work together. And if I don't know something, there's someone I can go to for knowledge. And it's the same. It's like, you know, real estate because you have a house. Not only have you lived in the US, you've also lived in Bosnia. You've done international travel, things of that nature. Like, if you know real estate, you know real estate. This is just a different facet of it.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great way to view things.
Right. If I can help people birth babies without having a kid myself, then you could sell a home or list one.
I'm hoping that helping them isn't what's preventing you.
No.
No.
Even though it's scary, but.
Come on, somebody. What else? Anybody got another concern? I mean,
I'll say something.
Go ahead, Lynn.
I'll say, so one of my concerns was, you know, everyone that I call, you know, these are people that maybe I haven't talked to or spoken to in a year or 2 years. So it's going to be really awkward just calling out of the blue just to try to get their business. But my mentor told me, you know, just be honest and genuine, especially with this last year with COVID. You know, a lot of people, you know, are in the same place, and they understand that industries, you know, tanked and that you've lost your job. So they're going to be excited to hear about your new adventure, you know. So just being genuine and honest about your new step in life.
Yeah. And, you know, the truth is, you know, you're just reacquainting with them and letting them know that you've launched your real estate business. You don't have to ask for the business in the first conversation that you have with them, right? But in many cases too, like I said, hitting something head on sometimes is the best way to do it, and say, you know, I'm sorry that I haven't been in touch with you. Know, go ahead and say, I'm sorry, you know, that I've, you know, not been in touch with you, but, you know, when I did, but I wanted you to be one of the first to know. Make them special in that, yeah, I may not have spoken with you for a while, but I wanted to make sure you were one of the people that I told first, right?
Right.
And again, it's not, you know, you don't have to go right in for the business, but owning that, you know, that elephant in the room, I always say, right? If we're going to go, if that's going to keep us from calling, then we got to come up with a way to get past it. You know, so because we can't settle.
Right, right. Yeah, and I followed up with, this is what I'm doing. I'm so excited. So to get started, I'm trying to build a database, of friends and family who would recommend me to other people. If you don't already have that go-to person, can I add you to my database? And just kind of
That's
go from
great.
there.
Did everybody hear that? That's a great way to do it. It's really just about, how many times did we used to get, you don't see it much here recently, but we used to get those emails that would say, I'm updating my contacts, can you give me your updated this and that and the other, right?
Yes.
So that's all we're doing is we're just reaching out and just saying. There are people, I use this all the time to say, there are hundreds of people in this phone right this minute after, 100 years in the business. And I don't know even where I met them, right? I mean, you could literally do an exercise of going through your phone and just calling somebody, right? And say, hey, I see Daniel smiling. I'll use him. Hey, Daniel, this is CC Osborne. How are you doing? And you'll know right away if they go, it's like they don't respond real quick. Who is this? Right? And say, oh, I'm so happy that you don't know me any more than I know you, but I'm going through my phone and I am trying to clean up my contacts. And I could not remember, which Daniel you were. I've got 5, different Daniel, right? Or whatever. We all have that in our phone. I mean, that's an honest conversation. And what's the worst thing that could happen? I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? They'd say, well, delete me and don't ever call me back. All right. Then, I'll clean that one up. No more. I only have 4 Daniels now. That'll be good, right? So I win either which way. They're just names in my phone, right? Until I make them a relationship. And you all know you have the same thing, right? I mean, I can tell you a dozen things. Working on, a baby shower with a girl, they'll say, well, call Sally because she was going to spearhead that or whatever, and you can help her with that. So Sally becomes a contact in my phone. We do the baby shower, never, that we don't have a need to connect again until now. Hey, Sally, this is CC Osborne. I'm just cleaning up my contacts. I ran across your name. We hadn't spoken in forever. I thought I would just reach out and see how you're doing. Right? And then they say, oh, how funny of you to call. I was just thinking about you the other day. Or they might say, who? Who is this? I'd say, oh, Sally. Remember we did that baby shower for Becky? You know what I'm saying? It's just a conversation. You gotta not make it so serious, right? It's just a conversation. And you have to always say, what's the worst thing that can happen? And if the worst thing that happens is they say, I don't know who you are, don't ever call me again, then we can quite honestly laugh about it and delete them from our phone and move on to the next one, right? So don't let any of that hold you back. You've got opportunity that you have just got to get past the uncomfortable. That's what we have the motto to say is, in this business, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where your greatest opportunity is. Think about it this way. Everything that we are comfortable with is where we are today. If we want to grow beyond where we are today, what's going to happen? We're going to have to step outside that comfort zone and become uncomfortable until we're comfortable again. And then you do the same thing, right?
Cece, question.
Yes.
When it comes to kind of scripting for social media, do you personally use Instagram or Facebook, and how would you use one of these scripts for social media for like your followers and friends?
Jill is belly laughing because I'm not a huge social media person, because I just love the real deal. and the relationships and face-to-face and the personal conversation. I've just always opted for that. But anything that yeah, I mean, you could transition it easy enough, you know, to some type of, but what you're going to find is you're going to do short and sweet on your Facebook for the most part, and redirect traffic to maybe your business page, right? You could say, you know, check out this new listing, right? Well, people have curiosity. That's maybe on your personal, and then you're rerouting them into your business page where they then can preview all your listings, or, you know, get your updated post or whatever there. But I mean, social media has become a huge tool for you to nurture those relationships. So, you know, anything that you feel is going to move you closer to branding yourself in that sphere as their real estate go-to, well, then I would say do it. You just don't want to rob the personal and make it too much about your business, right? They say, I think what the rule of thumb is, for every, you know, 5 personal posts, you might do 1 business related, right? You got to stay, you don't want your people to say, oh Lord, there's Cece again, you know, selling her wares, right? I have friends like that, actually. And that's why I don't do social media.
Can I add something?
Yes.
So you guys, Cece is so funny because she cannot stand social media, and we've been trying to get her in on it. But what I've learned over the years, and I think it was a mega agent class I sat in on at Family Reunion 2 years ago. Definitely social media communication, direct messaging, personal messages in Instagram and Facebook, and even TikTok now, right? Those, as long as it's a two-way conversation, that is a connection, you know. And maybe it is as simple as, you know, somebody on Facebook that you see is a friend of a friend, and you're like, oh my God, I went to high school with that person. And, you know, maybe it was 10, 15, 20, 30 years, if you're me, ago, and you can just simply say, hey, I noticed, you know, I saw you on Facebook, how you doing? And they respond with, I'm good, how are you? If they're normal, right? If they're a jerk, they're going to ignore you and then forget it. But if they say, I'm good, how are you? That gives you the lead into, I'm great, I just started a real estate business. You know, maybe you need to go back and forth 3 or 4 times before you lead in with the real estate stuff. But it is definitely another avenue for letting people know what you're doing. Anybody and everybody through social media. Did that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you. I have a question.
Great.
I know Cece was talking about like the personability of reaching out to people. One thing that I find that keeps me from doing the cold calls, like I've asked other agents in my office about their experience with it, and they say that a lot of times they get responses like, oh, you're like the 30th person that's called me, or oh, you know, I'm just another person on your list. So how do you approach lead gen without coming across as just another salesperson, I guess?
Well, whatever you're going to be comfortable with, but I know tricks that people have used is just lean into that. Say, I know, and I don't want to be that 30th person, but I do want to be the person that helps you with your need, right? We just divert, right? I mean, just hit it head on. If they're going to say, you know, oh gosh, you know, you're the 30th person that's called me today, and you can say, well, I wish I had been number 1, but right? I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry that I'm sorry that that's the case. But I would love to be the one that helps you get your need, right, met, or whatever you want to say. Come from contribution, like I said. Always be thinking about how you can take whatever they've said and make it personal to them, right? It's about them.
Absolutely.
That's why I say sometimes, yes, we can't avoid the obvious. I haven't talked to you in a long time, or, the asking for the business or being the 30th person or whatever the need might be. We just need to own it. And people respect you for that. And they forgive you for that if you address it, on the front end.
If you were on the other end of the phone, if you were the one receiving those phone calls, how would you feel? If you got the phone call that just say, hey, I haven't talked to you since high school, are you going to be mad? Probably not. If it's an expired or for sale by owner and they are giving that, oh my God, you're the 30th person I called today. They called me. Like Cece said, make it fun, make it light, be honest.
Right. You just can't worry so much about the potential rejection because that at the end of the day, none of us want to be put in an awkward position. We don't want to be rejected. But here's the way I've always looked at it. I liken it to the clerk in the retail store, right? We walk in the store and the first thing the clerk says is, may I help you? And what is it that we typically say? No, I'm just looking, right? I'm just looking. Well, if you're like me, and you're challenged with height, you need help in a few minutes to get something off of something. And so then I'm looking for them, right? And that clerk, when you say, no, I'm just looking, or no, thank you, I've always said, well, they don't go down in the back room and melt down and say, oh my God, she wouldn't let me. No, they go next, let me go to this next person over here and ask them if they need my help. And let me go over here and ask this person if they need my help. Because what we know is when they need us, if we've made it known that we're available to help and we want to help, then when they need us, they're going to come find us, right? And so that's the way it is in this business. That's the whole point, is that we don't have, all we're saying is, may I help you? And if they say no, it doesn't mean that they don't want your services. It just means that the timing of the offer isn't what they're ready for. It's all a timing issue. So it's really not even about you, right? It's about the timing. And so, but I guarantee you're going to hit the timing right if you're on this a lot. And then it's going to be, oh my gosh, I can't believe you called. We were just thinking about, you or whatever. But that's what being in relationship and in doing this consistently is all about. But so, don't take it personal. Just go to the next person and ask the same question. How can I help you? Because, what is it they say? You can't feel sorry for yourself if you are in gratitude. Well, when we're in gratitude, we're asking other people how we can help them. Does that make sense? Don't let anything stop you. All those things, can you imagine that you would let fear interfere with your success? No, can't do it. All right, so let's talk with our last bit of time about some accountability, right? You've got to have some accountability, and I guess it starts off with, just following your action plan. If your goal achievement is a direct result of accountability, then you've got to have a plan around what that looks like. So it's suggesting during this course, you'll have an action plan that outlines the specific actions you will take to achieve your goals. You will also create a calendar that helps you time block the specific activities you will do to achieve your goals. So developing and prioritizing your plan is what you need to spend some time on. To-do lists, unfortunately, are not planned, focused action lists. Rather, they are a catch-all for unresolved issues and not related to outcomes. Instead, we're moving from entrepreneurial. Those are things you would do in an entrepreneurial mindset, but we're going to a purposeful mindset, and we have to have a defined action plan, right? So focus on the things that matter, your dollar productive activities. Here's a quiz. what do you think dollar productive activities are? Where do you think they place in your schedule? Are they in your 80%? Or are they in your 20%? Dollar productive activities are your 20%. Right? All right. So let's talk about an action plan, right? First of all, you're going to make a list of all the things in the world that require action or resolution. Everything that's incomplete and needs action, whether it's urgent or not, big or small, personal or professional. And then you're going to prune it. How do you prune it? You're going to carefully consider each item. Is it a dollar productive part of your day? Is it in your 20%? Does it have real relevance to you? If unimportant or not relevant, delete it. Ooh, that's so scary, right? It's so painful. It's the truth, though. It might be painful, but you got to get serious about what you're going to focus on, because what we know is with full focus, you can accomplish any of these things, right? So then we're going to prioritize. For the remaining items on your list, determine two things: their importance and their urgency. This will help you organize and prioritize the list. So let's talk about important. Important activities have an outcome that leads to us achieving our goals, whether these are personal or professional. These are your 20% items, the ones that are dollar productive. And one thing I love in here, it says personal or professional. Gary Keller would tell you that when you set out to build this calendar, you put in all your personal obligations first, because we can't sacrifice those things that are important to our family and to ourselves, or the obligations that we have, right? We can build our business around those things so that we can have balance in our lives. So personal and professional. Urgent activities demand immediate attention because the consequences of not dealing with them are immediate. All right, so on page 49 in your materials, there's an exercise. And it says, here are some task examples. How would you rate each's importance and urgency? So let's go through this. Return a call to a person inquiring about a listing. Is that important? Is that in your 20%?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it urgent? Yes. So we get a check in those two categories. The next one says schedule a training class on contracts. Okay. Now forget that you're new, because right now a contracts class is pretty important, right? But on a typical, if it was any kind of training class, schedule a training class. Yeah, it's going to grow you. It's going to, help you develop greater skill in your trade. But is it in your 20%? Okay. Not necessarily, unless it is important to what you are trying to achieve at that time. What if you don't really know about short sales and you see the market is shifting? Would going to a class on short sales then maybe be in your 20%? Yes. Just like being new in the business and the contracts class, that's in your 20% because you can't make money until you know how. So that would be an income productive activity, is learning how to write a contract. You follow me? So the daily 10-4, these were our 4 habits that I talked to you about. Okay, are they important? They're important right now because it's through those activities that you're going to start generating business. Are they urgent? They're urgent. Going back to that schedule a training class, it is in your 20%, but is it urgent? It's not, I mean, it's not critical that you get it done like right this minute. Remember, we're trying to prioritize so that we can create some balance and that we then will focus on the things that are most important. So you go down the list, order new business cards. Well, on an average day, that wouldn't be urgent or in your 20%. It would be something you have to do. It'd be on your to-do list, so to speak. Putting marketing materials together for a meeting with a seller next week. What's that? Is that in your 20%? Yes. Is it urgent? Well, no, because I've got till next week. You kind of get the feel for how you're going to do this. And this is really important, an exercise for you to go through, because, you know, there are things that we confuse sometimes that are important, but they're not urgent, or they're urgent, like picking up your dry cleaning. You see that one? Pick up dry cleaning before they close. Okay, well, that's urgent, but it's not in my 20%. So you start recognizing what then is truly in that income productive column. And those are the things that you want to time block for first. Does that make sense? So then as you start making your calendar, then you want to make sure that those things that you've identified as being either urgent or income productive are going to have priority on the time blocking schedule. Does that make sense? So it says the truth is successful agents plan their days and they stick to their plan. This business is so reactive. It is. And the squeaky wheel usually gets the grease. But we have to really try to discipline ourselves to make sure we don't abandon the lead generation, building that pipeline, right? Filling the funnel. So Gary Keller would tell you that you need to plan for that for first thing in the morning. He says nobody truly has willpower, but before noon, we have a greater will to do what we need to do. And that's typically because, you know, we haven't gotten ourselves so distracted with the rest of the day's activities, or we're fresh, we're ready, right? So time blocking is so, so important. I will tell you, if anybody were to tell you, like for me, myself, it's the beginning of everything, right? Because if you started saying, you know, I want to have 5 appointments this week. So then you ask the question, so what has to happen for that to happen? Well, I would need to, based on my track record, I'd need to talk to 50 people. And so what has to happen for that to happen? Well, I'd have to have a target list of who those 50 people might be. Okay, well, what has to happen for that to happen? Right? And if you back yourself in through that exercise, guess what you're going to get to? I have to time block for the activities, period. Time blocking is that first domino for most of us. So get good at disciplining yourself to time block for the income productive activities, right? So that you do those first and get them out of the way. So then when you have all the interruptions that come after that, you'll be able to do it with a clean conscience that you know you've done what needed to be done. That's going to perpetuate your business 90 days down the road. Remember we said what happens today is going to hit us 90 days later. So then it goes on into giving you examples of you know, the schedule that you might encounter while you're in Ignite. And then it's going to talk to you about, you know, creating your own calendar on page 55. It says your turn, live by your calendar. So it says, you know, get out your smartphone, your laptop, your tablet, or day planner right now and schedule recurring calendar items. In other words, if you know you have a recurring event, go ahead and make it recurring on your calendar for like the next 6 months for next 12 months, right? Do that with all of your activities. Schedule the following recurring. Okay, I've got to go daily. I need to time block for, marketing and prospecting. I want to do some time so that I can work on those mission tasks, watching videos. I want to save some time for previewing properties. Pencil them in your calendar, but try to keep them there, right? We always say if you have to erase, then you have to replace. You got to find another spot. You don't just forgive it. You have to find it. So if I'm not going to lead generate this morning at 10 o'clock, then I guess I'm going to have to do it at 2 this afternoon. It's not like I can't do it at 10 o'clock, so I won't get to it today. You really got to create a real commitment. And this is the best accountability tool, is creating this calendar and trying to stick to it. Everybody understand? Feel good about it? Do you hate it already? Don't hate it already. No. Your calendar is going to be your friend because it's going to get us to dollars, right? So who will hold you accountable, right? So this is where it says the highest of high achievers have coaches who hold them accountable. Michael Jordan, Mia Hamm, Joe Montana. Boy, they're digging deep. Mary Lou Retton. I don't know who wrote that. Have all attributed much of their success to their coaches who held them accountable. Who will do that for you? You have options, right? Some of you have joined a PC program. Some of you have joined a mentorship program. Some of you will partner with each other and be partners in success and hold each other accountable. A loving accountability, right? Because it's not about anything but this kind of conversation, right? It would be like, so Tamika, how'd you do this week on your goals, right? And Tamika might say, well, I didn't do so great. Oh, really? What got in your way? She gets to answer that question. Then we say, well, do you foresee that happening again? Right? And it's just a conversation around, well, I know your goals are important to you. So you might want to, toughen up a little bit with these distractions, or, put that phone on silent and do not check your email while you're making your calls to your database. It's just a conversation around what challenges you had and how are you going to prevent them moving forward so that you can stay in your 20%. Does that make sense? So I'd love for y'all to make relationships and partner up. That would be fun. In your market centers, you definitely can have the same opportunity, or you can have that family accountability partner. And if you do, they've given you some samples of agreements in here that you can have with a family member or a significant other, right? Like I said, children are great accountability partners. So can spouses and partners, friends, mothers and fathers. But you just want someone, accountability partners are people who care as much as you do about you reaching your goals. And that's all it is. That's all we want. We want you to reach your goals, and we want to be there to support and help you. And if that means having a conversation about how we can avoid the pitfalls that are preventing us from hitting our goals, well, that's what it's all about. Right? All right, so let's recap a little bit. Let's refresh ourselves on what we talked about today. You ready? What are the 4 skills you learned today? We started out this morning. There were 4 objectives that we were going to talk about. Go ahead, Mo.
Was it family, occupation?
Oh, no, but I love that. Ford. Now that is a great platform for helping you structure your conversations. Remember, No, but I'm glad you brought that up because we might not have hit on that today, you know, in a refresher. So, because that was something I was just threw in there. So no worry. But that is great. Y'all should write that down. F is for family. O is for occupation. R is for recreation. And D is for dreams. And once you get into relationship with people, you can speak to these things. So how's the family? Did the kids, you know, how'd they do in school? Whatever. How's work going? Did you get that promotion that you were looking for? Right? And if it's recreation, hopefully, you know, I mean, are you playing tennis this year? You may be on an Alta team, whatever, you know. Did you buy the boat during the pandemic so that we could go skiing and not have to touch anybody? Boat sales are up, by the way. So that's it. And then dreams is like, you know, so are you still planning to, you know, buy that second home? You know, are you still thinking about moving closer to your grandkids? You see how those dreams can bring it right back into maybe having a conversation about real estate or not. Whatever their dreams that they may have shared with you, you just want to revisit them so that they know you care. Okay. Who was that?
Was knowing why and monetary goals.
That's great, Alicia. That wasn't necessary. That was a task. That was something that we want to do to help us with our goals. But I'm going to help you. So what did we talk about first? We got our head in the game. What is that called? Mindset.
Mindset.
Very good, Vala. And then after we got our head in the game, what was the one thing we wanted to do? We wanted to set some goals, right? So we talked about our monetary goals. And then we wanted to talk about holding ourselves accountable to those goals. So we touched on accountability. And then we wanted to focus some time on scripts because what we hopefully learned today is that scripts are important. And yes, you can make them your own, but don't abandon the key components that help people think the way you need them to think, right? So what are our 6 personal perspectives? Now bring it on. You know these things, right? What was
Commit
the
to
first
self-mastering.
Very good, Desiree. Yes. Self-mastering.
80-20.
80-20.
E to P.
E to P.
Being learning based.
Being learning based.
Removing your limit beliefs.
Removing
and
limiting
accountability.
And accountability. Right. So these are things that you can watch all kinds on KW Connect. There are agents speaking to these different things. There's a lot that you can learn, like on your mission days, to go in and learn a little bit more and hear other people's perspectives around these 6 personal perspectives. What are the 10 for? What's your 4 habits? What are the things you're going to do on a weekly basis that you'll do on a daily basis? What was important for us to do?
Grow the database.
Grow the database. Very good, Daniel. Yes, add 10 people to your database if possible. What else?
Prospect.
Follow up.
Connect with 10 people.
That's right. That's correct. You're prospecting with the relationships you already have, connecting with people, 10 people in your database. So we're touching our database and we're growing our database. What else?
Know your market.
Know your market. Very good, April. Very important. You want to know your market because I will tell you through previewing homes, you start recognizing your skill gets higher developed around what price points you can expect for different things, you know, as far as custom build or amenities or different things like that. You start realizing that, you know, in this price range, this is what a buyer could look for, or in this price range, right? You learn a lot by just getting out there and seeing what the market has to offer. Okay, we're missing one. What is it?
Follow up.
Follow up. Listen, I love that you said that because that really is the magic sauce. All of these things don't mean anything if you don't follow up on a consistent basis. The handwritten note was the one that we've overlooked, and that has got power in it because you can stick your business card in it, right?
Yes.
So you want to make sure that you are doing that whenever you can, because we have proven statistically that the handwritten note really, really bonds the relationship. All right, what are your ahas? We've got 6 more minutes. It's all yours. Tell me something. What'd you learn today?
Time blocking, very important.
Very good, Lynn. If you only got that today, it would be a win for me. Absolutely. Time blocking is very important. What else?
Lead generating.
I'm sorry, April.
Well, she just said it too, but lead generation and script practice. Definitely script practice, even if it's not verbatim, but just going over your script and what you're going to say.
That's right. Just developing a conversation around whatever you could expect, right? So role play with your family, with your friends, each other. So many people to, get script practicing groups, and that's so much fun, right? So yeah, you can't practice that enough, because what you want to do is this stuff just roll right off your tongue, that you have a response for every, objection, you're ready for anything, and you can get there by having a bunch of scripts in your pocket. Very good. And lead generation, absolutely. We've got to be continually filling the funnel.
CC, question about lead generation. Will there be a course or a time on how to lead gen?
There will be, absolutely. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about database. But then your third class on Thursday, that is all about lead generation. That's about adding contacts to your database. Yes. Yes. And that's going to be a continuum. That'll be an underlying piece of every training that you have, Delana. Every class is going to have some component around lead generation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, what else? Just tell me that I didn't scare you to death, that you're so excited still, right? That you got in this business and you're inspired because you know you can do this, right? Tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I know you can do this too. Absolutely.
If you just keep feeding us the information, we're going to be beasts out there.
Well, nothing would make me happier. I told you, Desiree, I can happy dance better than anybody. And I can't wait to celebrate each and every one of your success. I'm not kidding. It's what I live for these days. Yeah. Well, you're all very special to us at Keller Williams. We're so proud to be in business with you. You're all so sharp and capable. And it's going to be such a pleasure to watch you blossom and grow and reach your goals. So I hope that it'll be okay with you that Jill and I get to spend tomorrow with you. Tomorrow, we're going to let Jill do a little bit more, because in the process of building our database, it involves us working within command. And so it's going to be great for you, because we're not going to only take new contacts that we may have. We're going to actually show you how to put them in your command center and how to set that up and how to track your activities with that client and follow up and all that good stuff. So, yeah, tomorrow will be a little bit more exciting, maybe.
Yes. If you all check your email, you should have a link to a Google form for our instructor evaluation. If you're auditing the class, you didn't get one, so don't worry about it. If you did not get one, you need to email me. That means I'm missing a piece of your registration. So I just put my email in the chat. I'm gonna put it in there again. agentservices@kwcityside.com. So please go check your email. Complete that instructor evaluation sheet. That is kind of your sign out. You know, I took screenshots, you all signed in, I took roll, and I need you all to complete that instructor evaluation as your completion of today's class. Throughout this whole experience, I will be sending those out at 3:45 before class ends every day that you guys have classes. So the other instructors and facilitators may not know that I'm doing that, but I'm doing it. So just stay on top of it yourself. Email me if you didn't get it so we can get all of your registration complete.
And listen,
Rochelle, I don't have you on my email list because you just registered. So shoot me an email and I will make sure that we get that taken care of. I do have to have complete registration from you guys in order to make sure that you get credit, because all that secondary registration on the Google form, all of that has to be sent to Outfront Education. So I think I've got a couple of you that haven't done it.
and the school is what requires the evaluations. So it's real important that you submit those to Jill so that she can complete our packet when we send in for you to get the credit for the class. Listen, one thing that's most important, please ask questions. You know, you can't be a secret agent. We got to know what you need, what you want. We want to help you. And so reach out and ask the questions to your market center leadership, to Jill and I. Just make sure that if you have a curiosity about something, then you should ask the question. There's no question that we wouldn't want to answer because it's just going to help you that much more. And we can't assume everything.
Jill, can you send me that information for the client that needs a little credit help?
Yes, I have a note for myself right here.
Okay, thank you.
Got you.
All right, guys, you know, it's closing time. And what is that expression? You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, right?
We don't want to stay here.
So no, listen, I appreciate you all so very much. It's been a pleasure to lead with you today, and I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. So have a great rest of your day and evening, and we'll see you then, 1 o'clock sharp, okay?
We will
Thank
start
you.
at 1 o'clock.
Hey, Jill,
Thank you.
Thank
did the book arrive yet?
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. Say what? Who say
I
what?
didn't know if the books arrived yet for the.
I haven't been, they should have. I haven't been out there to the front desk to see if Miss Jane got it since this morning. But they were supposed to. I will email you, Kira.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye, everybody.